Listen, the only way this thing will be official is if the people choose it. So that means share the show. Here we go on a Wednesday night, Hump Day edition, Outlaw Radio. My name is Kevin Barnes, and I am the host of Outlaw Radio. In some circles, I'm known as the Negro Whisperer, aka the world-class smartass. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the People's Network presents Outlaw Radio, Conflicts and Confusion on a Wednesday night. Not alone, got my partners with me, my co-conspirators, if you will. Mr. Cartel, what it do, my brother? How you doing tonight?
Hey, life is what's happening, man. Life is what's happening. How y'all doing out there? Welcome to Outlaw Radio, where we talk that talk and we definitely walk that walk. Raising vibrations and elevate thought. Y'all better come on in. I'm trying to tell you who I am. The black woman lover, the black man's brother, the culture, teacher, hood, healer, the ghetto witch doctor. I'm all y'all holistic health and wellness coach, Kamar Khan. Peace to the family. I'm also the one who brings you next in the herbs and supplements and vitality in the house of vitality. If you ain't been there, you better get there. If you ain't had none, you better get you some.
Yeah, black business, always and forever. That's how we do it on Wednesday night. You got me fired up. Shit, I feel like I drunk some vitality. I got that boy Fonzarelli in the building. What's going on, man? I see you got your smoking jacket on, right?
Yeah, man. Had to get comfortable. I told y'all I've been having to go into the office all week, man. So I ain't loving this shit at all. You know, I pretty much weigh things is it important enough for me to put on some drawers and leave the house? So I've been having to put on drawers all week and I ain't digging that shit, man. So I had to get as comfortable as possible.
Okay, well, I didn't need to know about your draw situation, but you know, rest in peace to the great Heavy D. And every time I see you, I think about his classic song when he says, "Sitting in my room with my smoking jacket on, the fireplace is burning and the girlie is warm." You got to go back and listen to Overweight Lover, man. That's the
man, you know,
classic shit right there. Yes,
between Prince, between Heavy D and Prince Marky D, you know, they made it easier for me to be okay with being light and heavy and heavy and light. Man. You know what I'm saying?
Fat lives matter too, right? Welcome to Outlaw Radio. 262-202-5131 is the number you can call. I see my partner Dion in the chat room early and often. If you're just tuning in for the first time, you say, well, what is Outlaw Radio? Seinfeld is the show about nothing. Outlaw Radio is the show about everything, right? There we go. So what do we talk about? We talk about things that are pertinent to foundational Black Americans. I need for you to share the show. And Milwaukee 414 stand up. I got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. Bring this energy. Come on in. Tell a friend. Let me share on my personal socials. Right. Go check out the YouTube show. Shout out to Eagle Eye Security LLC, our sponsor. Shout out to that brother. He's doing a phenomenal job promoting the show. If you're seeing more ads, you're seeing us trying to get more present in the algorithm. That's because I believe at this point, Outlaw Radio has reached this is peak season for outlawing. And I feel like this is something that everybody needs to hear. So we're normally on Mondays and Wednesdays, right? And don't get me wrong, even though I talk a lot of shit, this show is about everybody, right? Like, so if you have an opinion, you have a perspective, you have a product, you have an event, you want to promote it. And like we said the other night, have you been fucked over? 262-202-5131 Outlaw Radio. We're gonna talk about getting fucked over tonight. Incidentally and coincidentally, right? It's conflict and confusion. What does that mean? Check us out on Mondays because we do live from the basement. And that's just kind of like an amalgamation of all the different things that have happened. But Wednesday night is more pointed, as they say. So it's always thematic, and there's always a reason to my rhyme or a rhyme to my reason. And when I say conflict and confusion, I'm intentional with that because right now we live in a city where conflict is the norm, right? And confusion prevails, right? You have a bunch of people on edge and nobody knows sheep shit from wild honey about the real actual factuals about what's going on. We have this thing on the show where we talk about follow the money. And so that means let's figure out what's spent where out of what you spend, because you, believe it or not, pay taxes, right? Whether you own or house on, anytime you purchase something, you pay a tax. This is one of the most controversial things that we've bore witness to, is this insane tax hike that came with these kind of draconian racist I believe my sister Miss Beverly calls it apartheid conditions to it. So we're gonna get off into all of that, as long as and some other shit, some messy shit, some serious shit, some helpful shit. Anytime we talk, Rail's gonna get on some deep shit. And Kamar's just Kamar. Kamar's like, it's whatever. It's just what you want to do, barbecue and mildew. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm
Shout
with
out
the
to Mama
shit. I'm
Jenkins
with
in
the
the chat
people.
room. Yeah, man. You represent that. You represent that on the show, Kamar,
Yeah.
because you're out and about in the community more so than Rail or myself, and so you actually know the temperature of the community. So, and that's one important perspective that you bring to the show. Not that you didn't know that, but I just like to say it out loud so people know that I know, right?
Hey.
Shout out to Mama Jenkins. She said, "Good evening, my Outlaw family. Let's make it do what it do." Mama Jenkins, I want to say this to you. I really appreciate all the support you give us and the love that you show for the show. And my condolences and my prayers. And I know it's past tense, but I seen you put up a memorial for your son who was murdered by the police. And I didn't, because I usually don't comment on Facebook. And so, but I just want you to know that I feel you, and I couldn't even imagine what it would be like to lose my shorty, like period, but especially to a police officer, right? So nothing but love and condolences for Mama Jenkins, and I see now why you fight. That's why Mama Jenkins said, "Look, from here on out, it's on." I'm pretty sure you were like that before, but you move forward steadfastly, even more so, and we can all see it. So, um, you know, uh, love to you, Mama Jenkins. Ruben Anderson in the chat room. I see you, Ruben. Conflicts and confusion, man, in a city that's supposed to be 40% black. It just so happened that the black population is the most downtrodden. Wrote a song about it. Like to hear it? Here it go.
Here you go.
It's called Outlaw Radio, man. It's what we do. So, like I said, hop in the chat room, jump on the line, contribute to the conversation. But I do want to say this to you: if you have a small business or you're promoting something, you have an event, holler at us. Let's do business. Let's promote it. Let's get this out here. Let's do work. I like we keep saying, you gotta be the change you want to see. So I'd like to show that we as people of color, foundational Black Americans in Milwaukee, can not only coexist, but we can cohabitate, right? And we can do a lot of great things if we just really invested in our ability to network with each other. This is an important time. This is a great time to be a Black person. Why, Kev? Why? With all the bullshit going on? Because now the information is free. They can't stop it, even though they try to go after critical race theory and they try to come up. I mean, if you really do your studies, white people have been proactive about assaulting knowledge for a long time. This ain't just start. They're already on the books writing laws legislatively. These are the motherfuckers that you pay out of your tax dollars. Yes, I called them motherfuckers. I did. I do shit like that sometimes, right? That's what you get on Outlaw Radio. So, if you want to contribute to this conversation, come on in, share the show. Before I even get into my spiel, I want to get some more people up in here. Y'all share the show, because what I'm about to talk about is very important, right? And y'all know I never make a promise on this show that I don't feel. My brother Kamar, how you doing, man? How's the week going, man? The season's changing. I know your business is booming. What's a day in Kamar's life like?
Man, the day of Kamar's life is like full of gratitude, man. Like all day, I'm counting blessings, man. I'm just counting blessings. Again, I Kev, you remember when I was working a job, man, I never had a clue. I never thought of nothing like this. I would be living like this. I never talked about when I quit my job. You know what I'm saying? Man, like life is just better than I ever thought, man. And I see it getting brighter,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But
and
you want to get technical about the day, you know what I mean? With the
why
day
not?
for Kamar is like, But I get up in the morning, you know what I mean, and depend on what the store may need, whether it may need tea, sea moss, elder, whatever it is, I may get up and you know what I mean, I'm getting everything together, getting it up to the store, and I hold the store down from 11 till about 2:30, 3 o'clock. Taylor come in and cover for me so I could get back out here in these streets, do some deliveries, pick up my supplies, come on back to the house and get some tea started or bust some ginger down or whatever it is I may need to do. Maybe make another run of deliveries. Come sit down, get ready for Outlaw Radio, you know what I'm saying? And we sit here and we talk our shit. When we get off of Outlaw Radio, I'm finna go in here in the other room, you know what I mean, and gallon up some teas so I can get ready to take them up to the store tomorrow.
Man, a day in the life of an entrepreneur, right? And I'm getting into the mode because Eagle Eyes, shout out to Eagle Eyes Security LLC, our sponsor. He's always continuously talking to me. Hey, Kev, let's do this. Let's do that. Let's do this. Let's do that. And I'm like, okay. Damn, cuz, you all right? You
That's
over
the
there
good
having
weed.
a conniption fit. Like, what
That's
the
the
fuck?
good weed. Be quiet.
All right, put that shit out. You
No,
sound
I'm not.
sick. That shit make me not want to smoke weed. Capo of the street, since you rude as fuck and you just gonna cough all over Kamar's testimony, what's happening with you?
First and foremost, Kamar was done. You always trying to start shit. What up, Dr. Carter? What up, Professor Rail? And the Negro fucking Whisperer. You know, man, I'm tired of getting in trouble, bro. That's what's up with me. I'm tired of being in trouble. You know, today I expressed myself about a certain individual and how they was treating one of my sisters. And people called me and said, that's family business. It is, but sometimes you just gotta, put some shit out there, right? So the people know that you're not fucking playing. And so let me close it like this, right? If you my friend, if you my brother, and vice versa, if I let anything happen to you, and I can stop it, right? If I let somebody talk about you, talk about hurting you, right? I'm not your fucking friend. And vice versa. Don't act like you my friend if you gonna let somebody talk about me or hurt me. Just get out my way. Today was it was a very telling day, Kevin. Very, very telling. So yeah, that's what I got to say.
The fact that you needed to say my whole government is,
Well, I didn't say Kevin Barnes. I just said Kevin.
Right. Well, these are kind of the same person, right? Kind of the same person, right? Welcome to the show, man. Welcome aboard. Rel, how was your week, man? I know you talked about battling the evil, and I see you got your smoking jacket on, so that means you're really decompressing. What's popping with Rel's world?
Man, like I said, just dealing with these calls from these people outside of the comfort of my home, you know what I'm saying? So it just I like to transmute that shit into fuel and motivation to keep on churning these books out, because one of these motherfuckers gonna make me allow me to quit my job, you know what I'm saying? All it takes is one of them to get on Oprah's book list or some shit.
That's right. Right. You gotta keep on grinding, man.
Yeah,
keep on pushing, right?
Right.
Shout out to Ruben Anderson. He said, "Did you get the info?" I did get the info about. I think you're referring to the meeting. I put it in the People's News Network, which is our sister group. So if you ain't in the People's News Network, that's another way you need to get involved with the show. On Facebook, I think it's the best group because it's mostly foundational Black American information that's pertinent, a little humor sometimes. But what it meant for me initially, I wanted my own kind of news network, but it turned into kind of like somewhere where everybody's platform is shared. So I see a lot of other podcasts, a lot of other content creators in there. Don't have a problem with it. It is what it is, but what it represents is our ability to show that we can write our own narrative and that we are creating systems in this country where we can communicate directly to each other with all the interference from you know who. So, and you fill in the blank for who that might be. Mama Jenkins said, "Thanks so much. I appreciate y'all for all y'all do keeping this city informed and this raggedy shit happening." We appreciate you too, Mama Jenkins, and your value contribution to the conversation. Dion said life good as a motherfucker. Dion said he living.
Yeah. Hey man, listen, you better say it. Man, look. I don't give a fuck if you don't believe it. Say it till you believe it.
Okay.
Lie to
Manifestation.
yourself till you believe it.
Conceptualize, right? Okay. I'm with that. That's good. My L Bay Booker, my sister Booker, she's with us. I struggle with that. I'm sorry. I know I'm saying it wrong, my sister,
That
but
king shit.
right. Real shit, real king shit. I mean, because there's so much more value on a Department of Corrections GED than it is on the Rufus King High School diploma.
Usually they put a hyphen in between the two A's on my aunt to make it easier for you to remember.
Okay.
That is why.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Kamar.
Hyphen.
I'm sorry, Kamar. I gotta interject, bro, because I just heard what the fuck KB said. Let me tell you something, bro. You're not gonna talk about my prison education.
You big dummy.
It took
My bad, bro. I had a little bit too much free time on my hands today. I'm sorry. No, shout out to you.
You couldn't wait to pop that new one on me, huh?
Man, shout out to you and your state-funded education, man. There's nothing wrong with that, man. It's really a demonstration of taxpayers' money at its finest, right?
Shit.
Erica Hunt, what it do, my sister?
Don't.
Dion said, man, he said, what the fuck going on? I tell you what's going on. Y'all want to know what's going on? What's going on is it's about to be politics season. It's about to be time to play politics now. We're going into election season, right? And our mayor, the first elected African-American mayor of the city of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, presented his annual budget today, right? So we're gonna talk about where the money's going tonight, right? So this is gonna get rough. Now, of course, we know that the mayor has done what he believes is this great thing in terms of bringing this tax increase into fruition, in which we're supposed to be receiving more shared revenue over a period of time, right? 2.2% increase. And I believe the going tax rate was about 5%, so you're going to about 7 now. So basically, you're going to pay $7 on each dollar you spend, which is kind of concerning, but like I referred to earlier, the conditions that came with it. And first of all, this is all taxpayer money in the first place. And Wisconsin has an upwards of $7 billion in surplus money. And so I don't understand why we had to go back on our knees and become crack whores to get a piece of it and accept the conditions that they put on it. So he presented his budget and he touted himself on how he and his staff or his people, his supporters, however you would phrase it, have for the first time straightened a budget that's been off kilter for years. For years, there's been fiscal issues, and our practices in the past in terms of how we budgeted the city has been all wrong. First of all, let me say no shit, Sherlock. We've been saying that every time a budget comes out, because this does happen every year. And I'm not even to start off anti, but I just didn't like the way it was so vanilla and it seemed watered down. But the big news that comes out of this, right? Because he said, what I'm not going to do is close firehouses. I'm going to add more police officers. I'm going to invest in making sure there's even a new approach to how we lay pavement in the city. We're going to continue to address how our streets are designed so that we can combat reckless driving. But he also said there will be a reorganization of the Office of Violence Prevention. It will be renamed and repurposed. Okay. And he stated that there's now a movement to work towards more trauma-informed care and dealing with people's trauma, which I believe the sister Nita Holman, that was her specialty, right? That they fired. That I don't know behind that. So they're repurposing that because he said public safety is a very big idea. I mean, a very big issue. And he also stated that there will be a movement now to raise dilapidated, blighted properties within our community. We're going to put a premium on getting rid of these, making sure they're getting torn down and this kind of thing, right? I'm gonna let Sean finish choking.
Yeah, whatever. Well,
Um,
shit, you should be happy I'm choking and not dying off of this shit.
well, I'm actually not happy you're choking. It's such a big distraction. I'm really sitting here thinking about accidentally muting your mic because it's very annoying to me. But I mean, it is what it is. This is what happens when you deal with people from Capitol. They're always rude. They're
What can
almost
I say?
always assholes.
You should
But
know.
no, I know. I would know, right?
Right.
Right. Game recognized game.
You
So,
know?
but no, so this is the layout for his budget, amongst other things. And I wanted to know what people thought about it. And on the heels of this, too, there's now a proposal for the Brewers to have in upwards of $700 million. I'm gonna say that again. $700 million so that we can be guaranteed to keep the Brewers until 2050. Now, this doesn't all come from the city, it's broken up. What I found out is that, number one, I didn't know the state owned American Family Field, ex Miller Park. The state owns it. So 400 million of this comes from them. 2 million comes from the city. 100 million is expected to come from the Brewers themselves. $100 million. You muted, Kamar. So that's
Hey,
go ahead.
if I heard correctly, man, I was watching that on the news too. It sounded like they were saying the state of Wisconsin taxes gonna pay for some of it. The city of Milwaukee taxes gonna have to pay. So it sounds like Milwaukee gonna have to pay twice.
Absolutely. Thank you. Because I was about to say, people in La Crosse and people in Shawano and all these places say, why the fuck do we care? Why should we, as a state, have to pay for the Brewers? 1% of all sales tax in the city of Milwaukee goes statewide. It's revenue shared. 1% statewide, which also makes me say, why the fuck was we kissing the state's ass to get us out whatever fiscal situation we were in? Now, he did say that people talk about the reserves, but those reserves have been dwindling for a long time because they've been utilizing them for things. Okay, so once again, I can give my opinion on the budget. Now we just named off because he's going to increase police. He's going to add police officers, and he says he wants the fire and police commission to be polarized and be able to take more of a lead. So I'm guessing that means some sort of power transfer, that they'll have more authority, because we know the fire and police commission has been dysfunctional as shit for a long time, right? I mean, how long did Milwaukee go? We didn't even have police chief. Motherfucker just copping all over the city. I'm a cop. Ain't no chief, ain't no captain. We all cops. I'm joking, but that's how the shit really looked. Shout out to Mark Ross. How you doing, my brother? Welcome to the show. It's Outlaw Radio, Conflicts and Confusion on a Wednesday night hump day edition. Y'all share this show, because I really want to know what Milwaukee thinks. Because I'm trying to, as Liberty Bell said in Willie Dynamite, collectivize.
Oh shit.
You got to have vision. If you know, you know. If you ever seen Willie Dynamite, you know Liberty Bell. But I'm trying to get black people together, man. Let's get in a circle. Let's circle the wagons, because now is the time where you show these elected officials that you have so many complaints about. Yes, you, and myself as well. We all complain about them. This is the time of the year where we can show them better than we can tell them. And shout out to brother David King. Because right now I'm gonna tell you where I'm at. I'm looking for an alternative. I think competition make everybody play harder. I want to give voice. And come on, I know I said I wasn't going to do this again, because, you know, in the past, we always supported the challengers over the incumbents, and we said we wouldn't do it again. But I want to go into a mode of supporting challengers again. So if you know somebody who's challenging the status quo, be it Republican or Democrat, tell them to holler at me on Outlaw Radio. Shout out to NC Jordan, who will be on. And I'm not, Kev ain't going Republican, but I'm saying black is black. So Ian will be on Monday, and I hope he brings David King with him, because I want to put it out there that there's an alternative, right, to this go along to get along ass political situation we got going on, because black people will never win. We'll never win behind passive leadership, and y'all can quote me on that. As long as we stay passive, we will stay subjugated. I mean, because how long have we really been passive in this country? Think about it. Black people are some passive aggressive ass people, because Within our community, we're very aggressive, but at large, we're very passive because we don't have voices. There's a lot of rooms that we don't have voices in. There's a lot of boards and supervisory committees and directorships that we don't have a voice in. So that makes us passive. So back you say we don't play. Well, we don't, but we're more passive aggressive than aggressive. So budgetary wise, let's just start with the OVP. Now we're gonna switch up midstream. And
let's start.
What, Sean, what do you, because I know you're out in the community constantly. What do you think about now them changing the direction of it towards trauma-informed care? Because you kind of shook your head when I said that.
You gave up. You're admitting defeat. You're saying that you don't know how to deal with the violence. So I'm gonna go with the easy path, which is the thing now. Trauma informed care, but trauma doesn't end. Healing from trauma doesn't end violence, right? Trauma
You mean
is
prevent,
reduce, intervene, none of that shit, right? It doesn't. Okay. Violence isn't caused by trauma, bro. Trauma can be caused by violence, but to say that you're going to focus on trauma and trauma-informed care and expect to get a reduction in violence, which obviously that's not their thoughts no more because they're getting away from violence. I think it's a cop-out. I think it's bullshit. I'm going to speak with them about this. Yeah, man, it's basically what they said is expect to lose more lives. We ain't gonna do nothing about it. We can't do nothing about it. Which I've been saying, if you don't come from violence, if you've never had a fight, right? If you've never had a fight, you should not have anything to do with violence prevention, violence intervention, violence reduction. I'm not talking about a verbal spat, right? Where, oh yeah, he got the best of him. His vernacular was greater, right? I'm not talking about that shit. I'm talking about off the porch, got your ass ran home, got your ass beat, ran some people home, beat some people asses, right?
Well, hold on, Sean. I was with you for a minute, but I don't know that you had to be a terror to understand.
Well, I'm not. No, listen, man. You have to listen. Okay, these cats, they school kids. They good kids. Most of the people running these programs, man, they're good kids, right? They come from good homes. Some, okay, they homes weren't that great, but they stayed on the path, right? They stayed on the path, and they're running these organizations, these offices.
Well, okay, so I'm gonna tell you where we separate at, because I believe one of the things that's required to run these departments is for an individual to be an intellectual. And so a lot of times you can be an intellectual and be from the community, was never a threat to your community, never harmful or counterproductive. And you can still be very effective at leading an organization that is tasked with violence prevention. I don't think you had to be a street fighter. It's like saying you had to be a great football player to be a coach. Some of the best coaches couldn't even play. They couldn't even get time. Some of the best players suck as coaches.
So let me validate my argument.
Or attempt to.
Milwaukee.
I slid that in there.
Milwaukee. 233 murders last year.
Okay.
Who was over these programs? Who making the calls and the decisions on what programs to implement? Right? We got a blueprint for peace, and I ain't seen no peace since the motherfucker came out.
Okay, but I don't think that that's a result of individuals who are in charge not ever having a fight. I think to say if you ain't never had a fight, you shouldn't be working.
Okay, you know what? I was being dramatic, right?
Onomatopoeia.
I was being dramatic, but let's use these kids from Urban Underground.
Okay.
Right? David Bourne, David Crowley, other young cats who stayed on that path. They stayed on the path. They attracted these kids. They didn't go after the kids who were at risk, who were deemed failures, who were deemed to never succeed.
As a black man, and we all like deemed to like assumed to be failures. I can't, from hearing my brother DC's story, he was a kid that would be considered at risk and
Yeah,
coming from a disenfranchised community in which he wasn't given, the best odds of survival. I think he took control early on and said, I'm gonna focus on some different things. But I don't think, I mean, I'm pretty sure he's had a fight before. I mean, just coming from where unless he didn't get off, I don't know. Maybe he
bro.
didn't get off the porch.
Did I
don't know.
just say the fight analogy was, it was just that.
You did, but I'm gonna harp
right?
on it because you said it, and that's just the type
Because
of person I am.
because
So
you off
it's
capital.
my fault. It's my
Because
fault.
you off capital, right?
Because I'm from Capital and I'm an
Man,
asshole, right?
my
There we go.
dude. But
That's
no,
why
man.
you like me. That's why you like me.
when you dealing with violent situations, violent neighborhoods, right? People that are prone to violence, right?
Okay.
You have to understand the causes.
Right, and that's what I was about to say. Where I am riding with you at is, I do think it takes somebody who's at least from our community, who understands, because there's what you're told and what's shown on television, and then there's what's really going on in the community, right?
You can't go to school for some of the shit that you're gonna experience
exactly
in these streets, man.
Yes, right,
and
right.
If you don't have an element of that within your organization that you can brainstorm with, that you can sit down and throw ideas off of, right? He's only gonna strengthen you, and you're gonna strengthen him.
When you even say though that their attempt to do that was this connection of 414 Life to OVP to say, hey, we have people who are from the community who are out here now trying to prevent more violence, and we put them on the scene of something, and their job, when we say prevention, we mean we are trying to prevent more murder, more violence. So it should have been called the Office of More Violence Prevention than Violence Prevention. Because it's a reactionary attack. It's not really proactive. It's, oh man, somebody got laid out. That was your cousin. Y'all finna ride. Hey man, don't do that, man. Let me try to mediate. That's reactive. That's not proactive.
The intervention, right? Prevention and reduction. The prevention, man, hopefully you don't even get to the prevention part, right? If you can intervene, you'll reduce. It'll be prevented. But you gotta intervene first. If you don't know how to intervene because you've never been in that situation, or you've only heard about that situation,
you don't understand it.
Man, you'll never understand it. And we have people in office and that hold these positions, right? Their egos, their pride won't allow them to work with somebody that they feel shouldn't know more or as much as they do in that field. You're not from this field. You just studied it. You got people out here living it. And now they don't use these people.
Let me catch the chat room, because Mama Jenkins says Mayor Johnson needs his bags at City Hall doors, and he knew that Hamilton was not a person that should have been put in that position. I said this raggedy ass unleadership city. She said the Hmong have their own community and they're coming. OVP is getting a name change, but what about all that damn money that's sitting in the cabinet collecting dust? Most of those people that are in OVP are not trained, she says. Shout out to my cousin. What up, Mariah? How you doing, cuzzo? What's up, family? Peace. Mama Jenkins, that is a great question in terms of, because I've seen Miss Beverly put up a very, very great kind of piece in the People's News Network about OVP. And she says, well, first of all, let's make sure, because if you remember, they're sitting on $10 million of the 12 that they received in COVID relief. And my brother Ashanti says, well, we didn't want to spend the money haphazardly and spend it up too fast. But at the same time, there was a lot of people who had done work, I guess, contractually through this office that still, I don't know if they've been compensated yet, but they hadn't been compensated. So does this reorganization and this redirection include paying the people that you owe? I mean, hopefully that you'll take care of that. But it's a lot to be said that, oh, now when there's $10 million sitting in the coffer, y'all want to come back and reorganize, right? It's very interesting. It's a lot to talk about. And as far as the Hmong community goes, I don't fault the Hmong community for having the solidarity and the wherewithal to come into this community and do what they're doing and implant themselves and empower themselves. What I have a problem with is that you have a politician and a leader who's supposed to represent us, and it seems like he's favoring them. And I say that because, I mean, not just them, but other people over us. Other groups are his priority because there's money involved and there's contributions involved. And when I say that, I mean, like, because he's doing his campaign opener at the Annox Cafe up on Hampton in the heart of what's right now probably the most prevalent Hmong community in the city. Now, I will also say this. You know, I didn't hear anything in this budget that was directly pointed at what we're dealing with in our community in terms of economics, lack of ownership, poverty prevention. I heard violence prevention and trauma-informed care. I didn't hear economic stimulus. I didn't hear, hey, when we look at the median income for people of color in the city, and it's 40% of those people is $29,500 for them and $30,000 for the whites. I didn't hear anything to address that. I didn't hear, hey, I've gone out and made deals with Fortune 500 companies and said Milwaukee's a great place to invest in. All we ask is that you build jobs around the city so people can flourish. I didn't hear any of that. I heard, oh, I'm so cold because I got this tax increase voted in, and goddamn, we balanced the books for 50 years to come. Well, do we need 50 more years of this shit? I didn't hear anything about, hey, I'm looking into increasing Black entrepreneurship. I didn't hear anything about, I'm going to create vocational programs so that MPS, the young Black kids that are graduating from MPS, have a chance in jobs, right? I didn't hear any of that. All I heard was, hey, and I did hear that city employees will be receiving a pay increase. They're now going to be receiving a pay increase because they're so severely underpaid.
I'm going to get a job with the city.
Right. In the words of Pimp C, I got a job for the city, bitch. I'm shoveling snow.
For real.
He said anything about state employees?
Nah.
No, man. You better
State
come
got
on.
all the bread. Mama Jenkins says, Sean, there's roots to a tree, but we don't know what kind of leaves they're going to bear until we have studied the background of the tree. Yes, ma'am. That's some knowledge for you. You don't know what's going to come from the tree. Mama, she said nothing about economic developments or jobs coming to the inner city. She said that before. I said it, y'all. So I don't want to. She ain't. You know, people say, "Oh, piggyback tail." That's not what happened. That's Mama Jenkins with her poignant contribution to the show. Y'all share this show. Tell me what y'all think, because see, I like to attract people who like to start their conversation with me by telling me, kid, man, that's why I don't give a fuck about that political shit. They gonna do what they want to do. And then in the same vein, complain because gas is $5 a gallon. Or goddamn shit, a fucking value meal is $15 now at McDonald's. Well, we got to talk about the people who are making the decisions. We got to talk to them. That's why I love the what do you call it, Sean? Your organization that Mikey referenced the other night, CUP. Okay.
CUP, Community United for Peace and Progress.
Okay, there we go.
And we're forming a local political action committee.
There we go. I even looked at the fact that he said, well, we're going to hurry up now. We ain't going to let these blighted properties be just in this city. We're going to make sure they get torn down. He said, I'm creating a committee within the committee to make sure that things are done in an efficient fashion in terms of getting these homes, these blighted properties torn down. And we're going to try to invest more into the community so we can prevent properties from deteriorating and this kind of thing. That sounds like, to me, gentrification. That sounds like, let's tear down some shit and make people move around because we're going to deem your property, oh, well, you're going to get these fines, you got to move. And now we'll just develop this community and let all these pretty uh, you know, Gen X, not Gen X, but millennial white babies come on up in here. They don't want to be in the suburbs anyways. If you study how this thing goes, they don't want to be in the suburbs. They don't want to live far out like their parents did. They say, no, we want to live urban. I want to sip lattes on Old World, or well, MLK, since they extended it, right? I want to be able to walk to my job because I'm the manager for BMO Harris. So why should I live in Sheboygan? I'm going to walk from my townhouse and go to my job in the new shiny skyscraper that Northwestern Mutual has built. It only makes sense. Anytime you got a downtown, which is supposed to be based on attractions and theaters and this kind of thing, what they're building downtown mostly now are luxury apartments and hotels. Who the fuck do you think is staying down there? It ain't us. I didn't hear him address affordable. Milwaukee has a very serious problem with affordable housing. The city is a large percentage of the people who are income deprived, which means the largest portion of their income goes to their rent, right? And we got the working poor here, parents who work 2 jobs and still are fucking damn near living in poverty. Half of that 40%, that black population in Milwaukee, lives below the poverty line. I didn't hear him address any of that. And that's why I'm ready to start talking about alternatives, right? Black people, it's time to take the pacifier out. I say it loud and proud. Fuck the Democrats. Fuck the Republicans too, though. See, you got to be. It's time for us to pick who has our best interests at heart and ask critical questions to them. And if they can't answer them, then we just let them know. You big dummy. That's all we got to do. That's where we at.
Fuck out of it.
So I'm just saying, I want to talk about it tonight. Y'all chime in. Let's see. Mama Jenkins said, oh, this is Mark Ross. Shout out to this brother. He said, what has the Office of Violence Prevention done for the city? I think we've asked that question many times on this show. Now, that's not to disrespect anybody who works there. My cousin worked there and she worked hard. And look, I'm sure your cousin is a beautiful person.
Now,
right?
So
what have they done? Go ahead, Sean.
Their new name is going to be Peacekeepers, right? Peacekeepers.
Well, that's not the name of the office. Let me pull up what they're going to rename.
I don't know what the name is.
Pull it.
But I know they're going to be sending out peacekeepers into these neighborhoods.
Okay.
That's a better name.
Keeping the peace.
I don't know. I don't like to get caught up in names and titles. Kamar, did you think that's a bad name for peace?
No, I just said that's a better name, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
However, though, you still have to live that name. That name has to go with the action, right? People are going to expect you to do something that you can't do.
I don't. The expectation is the expectation. I care more about the execution. I could give a fuck what the expectation is. I'm more concerned with, are you actually doing something that's positive and progressive for the community? Like, is your organization effective, or are we just pissing away money? Are we just pissing away money just so you can have a job? Right?
If it's the same formula where they just popping up, doing some cleanups, barbecuing or grilling,
hot dog
resources, that ain't gonna do it. So I hope that they are redeveloping it so that they can really attack this violence.
Okay. Once again, I'm one of those people who believes that poverty is one of the biggest contributors to violence.
It is.
So, and especially when you got a certain amount of square miles in which the poorest people in this region live within 10 minutes of each other, 15 minutes of each other.
Yeah.
So I think he's talking. It's one of those situations where I say, I hear what you say, but I know what you mean. Okay. So what the violence, the the changes that he talked about. We're moving forward with organizational changes to our violence prevention work. A new Office of Community Wellness and Safety will incorporate the work currently underway in the OVP. The importance of prevention is in no way diminished. We have multiple simultaneous efforts to reduce violence. At the same time, the work of this department in promoting safety is a broader task. So wait a minute now, hold on. Once again, I hear what you say. I know what you mean. So we feel like what we got on our mind is a way bigger issue than preventing violence. That's an asinine statement in itself to me. I don't think there's anything more important than preventing violence, whether you can do it or not. For you to, I mean, that's almost egotistical to say we believe our idea, which you didn't give any specifics on, by the way. And if it sounds like I'm anti him, I maybe I'm a little slighted because I'm upset with the way the city has gone under his watch these 2 years that he's been in. But I like the facts are the facts. So if you have a different an opinion, please feel free to call in. The number's 262-202-5131. He says the new Community Wellness and Safety Office, part of the Department of Administration, will rise to the challenge. He said there are organizational changes included in his budget aimed at promoting oversight efficiency. Okay. Oversight efficiency, like $10 million sitting there that you ain't used, like a pool of money that you didn't even know about when you took office. It seemed like to me you just tightening the purse strings so you can say, man, let's control this money more, which might not be a bad thing as long as the audit is public and external as well as internal. I mean, internal as well as external. Mama Jinka said KB, he was listening to David King, so tearing shit down instead of rebuilding and putting working people with families in these homes. When they redid Brewer Hill, the white folks came back and bought up all the property for outrageous prices. But these companies with whites are moving in the downtown area for little taxes. I'll send a list of businesses that pays no taxes, starting with Marquette University, some hospitals, and many more. Well, when we talk about the issue with all of these out-of-state investors coming into Milwaukee, purchasing big pieces of property, that's what I'm saying. You're not impressing me by saying we finna hurry up and tear this shit down so that these out-of-state investors can now do what they want to do. And it ultimately just removes the people who are there, because if you can't pay, you can't stay. And I want people to be clear about that. Big money, what they say, big bank take little bank, right?
So you're right.
Right. So I don't know if he knows there are some black people in his foundational black Americans in this city who are cerebral enough to understand what you're saying. And I love how he makes it sound so just great. Like, this is great. We just fixed this fiscal situation. Because I have a bright idea for the mayor if he really wants to fix the fiscal situation in terms of tax revenue. Bring viable jobs. I guarantee your tax revenue will expand tremendously. You talking about throwing another X amount of millions of dollars at a program that at best will take 10, 15 years to have any. It'll take so long to even measure the impact of saying. That's why I love to hear people say trauma-informed care. Trauma-informed care. Implement your trauma-informed care program, right? And holler at me next year. And let me say, okay, well, what did y'all reduce? They're gonna say, well, the gains were minimal because we're just implementing our plan. It'll take at least 5 to 10 years for a very small, a millimeter of progress to be made, right? It's like saying I gotta go see a man about a dog and sell him a cat. And I understand that. I understand Mayor Johnson's approach. It's the Obama thing all over again for me. It gives me Obama flashbacks, like he's everybody's mayor. He's the mayor. I don't know if y'all remember that show.
I got to applaud myself right quick.
Okay.
And not to boost my ego or none of that shit.
Okay.
It just
this is new.
What it is.
This is new.
And see why not?
Hey, I'm a humble guy, very modest.
Fuck that. I don't see why not. Nigga, ain't nobody else gonna give you your props.
Keeping this shit 100, man. Yeah. Honestly, from 15 to 18, when we was really involved in these streets, the shit failed. Right? We were employing people from the neighborhoods though. Look at it from there. It went from, I believe we got close to double digits, all the way up to 223 though. And we've been talking about this trauma informed care for a couple years now. They gonna blame it on COVID. Motherfuckers was in the house. Wasn't nothing supposed to be open, right? Wasn't nobody really getting no money because couldn't nobody work. You didn't get your stimulus right away. So all that, this is because of COVID. No, the fuck it's not. It's because of bad management, bad decisions, and bad implementation.
Well, let me just say that our community was dysfunctional before COVID.
Way before COVID.
Right. You just blame the baby for shitting on itself.
Man, right? So,
it's your fault, little 3-month-old.
I reached out to a couple people, man. I was, I'm willing to really give this shit so that people can live, right? I got people with a different mindset willing to be a part of this shit, right? And I'm telling you, man, we gonna continue to lose these lives. We gonna continue to bury our babies until we show people that we will fire your ass and bring
accountability is important. It's all about accountability.
Man,
Mama Jenkins, she said family supporting jobs will make a change in this city. And I would also like to, because Kamar always reminds me, stay solution based, Kev. Stay solution based. Talk about the problems, we forget to talk about the solutions.
What the fuck just happened?
I would have to say to my own people that, and we say this all the time, it's time for a lot of us to get up off our ass too, right? It's a systematic thing, but it's very systemic for us. It's sickness almost. There is an internal I don't know, like we've inhaled this. We've taken this on, like we talk about socioeconomic conditions. For us, it has become almost like a flag. And some of us believes it makes us valid. Like to be in the hood and to be on the block and to be living in dysfunctional situations and to be a person that's counterproductive to the community makes you some sort of anti-hero because you're railing against the system that's holding you down. That's bullshit. What you doing is fucking up other people's day that live in your own community, right? You're bringing death and destruction in because you're getting a little twos and fews. I get it. You're getting a little money, right? You're getting a little paper on the side. But how much does it cost for you to really sell your own people out? And I think that when we start talking about what's the repetitive cycle here, it's commit a crime, go to jail or go to prison or get incarcerated. And they say you're paying your debt to society, but you're really paying a debt to the government because a lot of times you're working for slave wages and they can spread that money around. Let's give these motherfucking microchip makers who make microchips for a satellite, let's get him that contract. So now you can sell $1 billion satellites and your labor cost is low as a bitch because you only paying the prisoners 75 cents a week. This is the game that they play on our back. We keep doing it. I'm gonna say that again. You have a lot of prisons who have contracts with government weapons manufacturers. And these prisoners go and work in these factories. They don't know what the fuck they making a lot of times. And that labor is dirt cheap. And so these government contractors, their profit margin is even that greater. If you are friends with a senator and you own a weapons manufacturing company, he can get you in like, if I give you this state contract, we can ship 70% of your labor force to the Department of Corrections. We only pay these motherfuckers $2 an hour. You sell each circuit board back to the government for $15,000 a piece.
Ain't nobody getting no $2.50 an hour in prison, man. You
not even that much.
What the fuck is wrong with you? The highest you gonna get is $1 with maybe a 15-cent incentive.
You big dummy.
Right. Hey, listen, man, I need to ask y'all something, please. Correct me if I'm wrong, too. Trauma is the fear of something, right?
Not the fear.
Well, it's
Phobia is fear.
Yeah, okay, but trauma is caused by what?
Any kind of event that really shocks you. It
And,
shocks your
and
system mentally.
leaves you fearful of it happening again, right?
Or jaded. I don't
Or
know if
jaded.
fear and
Okay,
jaded is the same thing. You're just now. It just trauma affects so much more than just that immediate instance. It's like later
right,
on, because a lot of times what we do mentally is
mhm,
compartmentalize things.
right.
So
You
you will
making
put
my
a
point
trauma
for you.
away,
Thank you.
but you'll live your life a certain way, and it'll manifest in its behavior in ways that you don't even know until you take a look back at it.
Okay, right. You making my point, right? So I'm stuck on this trauma informed care shit. You did this.
Right?
Right. So um we're focusing on trauma informed care dealing with these violent individuals, right?
Right.
They're not, they don't fear the shit that they doing. They not
Well, that's why I said it's not
running and
about
hiding
fear,
from
though,
this shit.
Sean.
Huh? Excuse me?
That's why I said, because we say all the time, hurt people, right?
Right.
So a lot of times, one of the biggest
So,
problems with trauma is that it desensitizes you to a certain degree. So if
so
you've been molested or raped, a lot of times those individuals end up molesting or raping someone else because that portion of rationality is just shut off. And I'm not trying to give a long spiel on psychology, but you got to understand the way the brain works. You have to understand the way the thought, like people's reaction to certain situations. There's things called stimuli, right? And like so.
I took intro to psych too.
Well, I took more than intro, but I'm just saying, like you have to understand the whole
and
process.
yeah.
No.
But I'm saying, no. This was my question though.
Okay.
You ain't even let nobody else answer.
Well, I didn't. I seen where the end of it was going, so I just was proactive. I just fixed it before it broke.
Seriously, man, we
too.
cannot continue to try and treat trauma or treat violence as if it was trauma, right? You can't mix the two.
You have to, because people who have violent acts committed against them are traumatized behind it. So you cannot.
You're not gonna listen.
They both have to go. They both have to coexist.
Okay, KB. You people that are molested, right? That's not the same trauma as these cats out here shooting people. These cats out here.
It absolutely is, because a lot of them is out here shooting because somebody molested them, and he been dealing with this shit his whole life.
That's not why they shooting, man.
Man, come on, man. Hold on. Now, let me get my chat room.
Come on.
Vince said COVID locked people at home where the dysfunction causes trauma. Dustin Patrick, welcome to the show, my brother. He said 100.
That's my son.
Vince, okay, shout out to your son. He's a smart man.
I think
Vince Tony. Right, he might. Either way, it's all good. Vince Tony said trauma affect the brain adversely. The traumatized individual don't know that they're traumatized, but they have triggers that they don't even understand. And that was what I was saying. But Sean, I'm saying you don't have to have one without the other, because there's a cause and effect here. There's something that happened that caused an individual to be traumatized. So I'm saying that to say a young child, a young man who grows up and he watches his mom get beaten or from an early age, and kids, if they see that early, it's boom. That's the ultimate form of trauma. Like from the day I can remember, I watched my father just come in and just fuck everybody up.
Yeah.
And after a while, he becomes like, he has to toughen up. So he has to live through that. He has to survive. His survival instinct kicks in. He says, well, how do I survive this? I survive it by trying to rationalize it, right? And I compartmentalize it. So now he never really learns coping skills or critical thinking skills because he's too concerned with surviving this crazy environment. The minute he gets in a relationship and he's pushed and he sees that kind of angst and that energy that was involved in that relationship between his mom and dad, he punched his wife in her mouth. Boom. And she said, oh, shit, I can't believe you hit me. He said, damn, I guess it's just because I grew up and I started convincing myself that it was the norm. And that's how I dealt with it. That's how trauma creates more trauma. Now, those little kids who are sitting in that house, if mama get beat to the point where she is murdered by the father, If somebody don't come and sit down with those kids and start addressing the trauma of them seeing their mom murdered, you're gonna have some psychopaths on your hand. You'll have some people who they'll be out here absolutely doing any and everything. Somebody has to come along and say, okay, let's really talk about what happened. I want you to face up to it and let's try and deal with it. Like, let's try to get some level of normalcy in your life. I think you got to do them both. That's just my opinion. Come on, what you think about trauma and its role in violence prevention?
Well, I think trauma is the beginning of the violence.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the trauma that causes it, because it's a cause and effect to everything.
Okay.
Like you said, or like it's a cause and effect to everything. You raised where you told to shut the fuck up all the time. You know what I mean? Now, as you get older, you may not be one that's willing to speak up for yourself.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
There we go. Good example.
So it's a cause and effect to everything. Okay. You know what I mean? And depending on what the trauma is, there could be fear. It could be fear. So, you know what I mean? I think both of y'all are right, really. It's just different perspectives.
Okay. But do you think that it has, for us to say, let's initiate some sort of trauma-informed care along with violence prevention, do you think that they should both coexist, or you think one shouldn't be there? Just like, fuck trauma-informed care.
I think we need all we can get.
Okay, there we go. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I think we need all we can get. Like, if we got a group that's willing to do this and a group that's willing to do that, we need both. Shit.
Let everybody work.
You know what I mean? Right? It's different. Is different lanes to the revolution.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's different lanes. Everybody got a lane. It's where you passionate at. That's where you put your energy to.
And Real, I know you're very well versed on psychological, the way the brain actually functions, and how stimuli and you know how you're, because our perception a lot of times is our reality, right? So and your brain, people don't understand, your brain can make adjustments on it's the ultimate computer. It'll update its mainframe when you sleep and you won't even know it. That's why people wake up and say, man, why I ain't think of this shit before? Because when your ass went to sleep, your mainframe rebooted and got you straight. So what do you think about trauma-informed care and its role in violence prevention?
I think it's a major role in violence prevention, because just like y'all was saying, you know, when you fuck with epigenetics, it tells you that your environment and even your environment, your food, and your thoughts manipulate your genetic expression. So, like, even with motherfuckers who be like in a bad relationship type shit, and we always be like, why didn't they just leave? What people don't understand is your body is a chemical factory, and each thought produces a different biochemical that your body gets addicted to. So when people are traumatized, a lot of times, or say someone's in a environment where they always on edge, always stressed, always anxious, to remove them out that environment, sometimes you find that they run back to it, because in actuality, your body was addicted to the cortisone it produced, the epinephrine, you know, the adrenaline it produced, the epinephrine it produced, always being on go type shit. So it's actually there's a guy, Joe Dispenza. He talks about the science of change, and how the reason it's hard for people to change is because their body has become addicted to the traumas that they're currently in. So yeah, man, that shit real, because we like to think shit is just thoughts or feelings, right. But those feelings are produced by thoughts, because those thoughts are producing different hormonal and biochemical expressions that your body is getting used to. I mean, even when we talk about dope, it's called dope because when dopamine. It's causing your body to produce the natural dopamine that your shit already produced.
Hey, I want to build on that cortisone thing. You know what I mean? Like,
off the show, fam.
With cortisone, it's addictive. Like you said, it's addictive. and your body produces it whenever some kind of stress, some kind of stressful event that's going on. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a natural aspirin or something like that. But the thing is, like, you ever notice, like, you see people, argumentative people. You know what I mean? Everything got to be an argument about something. You know what I mean? Argue. And that's what it is. It's like subconsciously they're addicted to the cortisol.
They're getting high off that conflict
that they produce.
Yeah, motherfuckers get high off of conflict and they really don't even understand that they do.
Right.
That's why I say I blacked out. Man, I just snapped, cuz. That's what black people say. Mama Jenkins said there's so many different types of trauma. She says, I've been traumatized for years since the death of my son, but I had to learn how to cope with it. I started meditating more and self-investing in what it was that would help me to benefit and find a better way to deal with my situation. We got a caller. Caller, what's popping? You live on Outlaw Radio. What's good with you?
What's up, Cal? Vince here.
Vince, Tony, what it do, my brother? How you doing tonight?
Hey, not too bad at all. Hey, the best way that I can explain trauma from the experiences that I've had from taking some of those classes is that it and how it affects the brain. And let's say, for example, you're beating a child and you're with an extension cord. And first he's yelling and screaming, and all of a sudden he stops, and you can continue to hit him and he won't move. Well, part of the brain shuts down, because if you don't, and if the brain doesn't shut down, it'll kill you. So it shuts down, and you can beat the kid as long as you want. That's traumatizing. Here's another example. I talked to a female who had been molested as a teenager, as a child, and part of the brain that understanding went through what happened shut down. It wasn't until she was in her 40s when a friend, and here's where the triggers come in, where a friend told her that her daughter had been sexually assaulted. She said at that very moment, everything that man had done to her, she can see it, and she to the point where she can even smell his stench. So there's a part of trauma that we will never understand. It's understand trauma, people to be able to understand what they went through, or even to help them come through what they've gone through, to be able to explain to themselves what happened, and to be able to reverse it, to say it wasn't their fault, because before they can somehow normalize and understand where their triggers are coming from, because somebody might just knock you upside the head, may not know why they did, but like you were saying, they watched the daddy beat the mama, and all of a sudden something triggers them. They find themselves punching somebody in the mouth.
Yeah, I know I got my ass whooped by my mama, so I tried to whoop as much ass as I could when it wasn't my mama swinging at me. I'm like, yeah, I might get my ass whooped with a belt by her, but I'm beating the brakes off your ass today. I got another caller. Caller, you live on Outlaw Radio. What's popping? It's the Hump Day edition. Talk to me.
Hey, how you gentlemen doing, man? It's Dion. What's going on?
What up, bro?
I'm just taking it easy listening to this conversation. I just want to, add my little 2 cents. So I've been listening to a lot of people, and I haven't heard anyone yet. A lot of things that we go through. I was listening to Dr. Joy LaGrue the other night. She was talking about post-traumatic slave syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard about it before. I've heard that lecture before, but now I actually was listening to it as I was going to sleep. And I could say, me, myself, personally, as I witness a lot of things throughout our community, I feel like a lot of that is a genetic thing. You understand? Like say, for instance, I remember when I first went to prison. I see somebody, didn't like them, don't even know them. Once I got to know them, they was cool. And I always wondered why that I didn't like that person. You understand what I'm saying? And so as I got to read more and understanding, and especially learn about post-traumatic slave syndrome, it was a lot of things that was done to us, our ancestors, that was hereditarily passed on to us. Like, I don't believe in whooping a child, because when you spank a child, to me, if you wait to do it, but I don't believe in doing it, period. It's another way to discipline them. But it's acting out in a violent manner. The child didn't do something that you wanted that child to do and didn't do it. So you retaliate with violence. Even though you look at it like I'm disciplined and it's out of love, anytime you hit someone, regardless of whatever, however you want to look at it, is violence. we can't decipher, say, okay, I'm going to spank my child out of love. That's just like you slapping your woman. I'm doing it out of love. I'm disciplining her. No, that's an act of violence. You understand what I'm saying? So that act of violence that we portray towards our children, if a child grows up and he see anytime I don't do something, my mom whooped me and my dad whooped me, or like I heard you gentlemen talking about, a woman possibly didn't do something a man didn't want her to do, boom, sock in the mouth. You understand what I'm saying? All this correlates to back, like it's hereditary. Like I be wondering, and you know, we always talk about this. This is like an ongoing thing. It's so much violence and drama in our community. Now, I don't know what goes on in the white folks community. I'm not saying that, you know, John ain't slapping the shit out of Susan behind closed doors or whatever, but it's not as publicized as it is where Lil Ray Ray shot Lil Johnny on 21st and Burleigh as the kids was getting out of school, and he just opened fire. You understand what I'm saying? And then they're quote unquote call out a mass shooting. So there's a lot of things that we have issues within our community that has transpired and carried over from us being enslaved, from our ancestors being enslaved, and it's embedded in our DNA. You understand? Do you feel me though on that? Do you
Well,
anything?
Of course, because we know when we talk about like hypertension and diabetes, a lot of times it is genetic, it's passed down. And really what and I've spoken before, really what diabetes is it becomes your pancreas is hyperactive to the point where it shorts itself out. So now you can't really process sugar in your system, which because most of us, we say, are born on 10. And if you, one of the first things that you learn how to do as soon as you can open your eyes and breathe is how to survive. You notice a baby from day one who doesn't know anything figures out that nipple is where food and sustenance comes from, right? So you'll see a baby, if she got him sitting there, he reaching for it. Hey man, he's learning how to survive. How do I survive? Well, one thing I need to do is grab this nipple, get fed, and get some energy and whatever other things that breast milk, you know, does for a child in terms of boosting their immune system and whatnot. But you learn how to survive, and so from that, as we get older, sooner or later, your body says, "Look, man, goddamn, can I calm down a little bit?" No. Well, I'm just gonna shut it down then. And then now you got to do insulin and all this. And then you have kids and they're diabetic and they have hypertension. And so it becomes generational. And Rail just referenced genetic trauma. Vince even says vicarious trauma. So I mean, there's many different levels of trauma, right? And understanding where violence comes from can sometimes be very difficult because you got people who come from the greatest homes and the greatest families, but for some reason, this some bitch off.
I know my guys. I got a couple guys in Chicago had mom and pop, and they was like real life. The Huxtables, like the dad was a dentist, the mama was a lawyer, and he was a stone cold killer. And he had killed 2 or 3 people when they put the house up, bail him out of jail. Because you know in Chicago back in the days, you ain't gotta do nothing but come up with 10% of the bond. And this nigga go out there and kill somebody, boom, be out for a couple years. Kill somebody, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, and then you know on the outside looking in, you'll be like, well, you had everything. You know what I'm saying? You had a mom and dad, they was prominent. You driving BMWs to school and you living good and got the flyest kicks, but you know, I guess he was just violent prone, you know. And a lot of times, you know, that's why I be bewildered sometimes when I be listening to you guys when they be like, well, the Office of Violent Prevention, I know those guys and the police like, well, what the fuck can we do? You know what I'm saying? If me and Rail get into it and that's an isolated incident and we got into it on his block and then I see him on 46th Street and I get at his ass and I miss him and then he look up and catch me and whack me, you know what I'm saying? Like this situation that we had spread on 3 different city blocks and I just came up on the short end of the stick. Sometimes that's how that violence be. You understand what I'm saying? It'd be so many isolated incidents that you can't just be like, okay, we're going to run around here like the Black Panthers or the Guardian Angels and we're going to look for people. And then, you know, like times is different now. Niggas ain't hanging out on the block. Niggas will get into it on Facebook and be ready to kill each other. You like, damn, Like, bro, name y'all got internet beef. Like, y'all was on the video game talking crazy. Now y'all see each other. Now y'all want to shoot each other. It ain't like back when we was growing up. Like, niggas be on 4-5 or y'all be down there on Capitol, and then some niggas slide through, and then it's a big old scuffle out there. Then maybe the police can isolate that. But if I'm behind a keyboard and on the phone and talking shit and saying, when I see you, nigga, you my op, and I see you, and the only time we been at each other is on Instagram or Facebook, then you know what I'm saying? So it's just different now. But I'm gonna go ahead and say what I said, hang up and let you guys finish, man. I appreciate this forum, Kev. Keep up the good work, as always, man. Salute to you black men. We black men, we kings, like Real a good father. I see you a great father. Bull shine, you know what I'm saying? I love to see that though. Even though I'm a nigga though. I'm a no good ratchet ass nigga. You understand? But it is what it is though. You understand? I'm just me though. I can't be nobody but me. But I love you niggas and salute, and y'all keep it real, and I'm gone.
All right, peace out. I think you're shortchanging yourself. I think you're shortchanging yourself, bro.
No, I'm a nigga. I'm a hood. You see, when I see you, I'm doing racks up like, yeah, what up, folks? Yeah, I be on 10 at a time on my mama. I love, bro.
All right, man. Yeah. That's only one part of him, though. I mean, the fact that the conversations we've had on the show and Dion has contributed to lets you know it's more than meets the eye, And I understand sometimes. That's why I love Pimp C so much, because he used to always say how he wore his glasses and how he looked. He say, man, I just look like this, man. I ain't no square. But just how he looked, people would assume one thing, and then when you really peel back the layers, you got what you get, basically. Mama Jenkins said them white girls get their ass beat too, plus they get more verbal abuse. Well, let me money and riches and fame and prominence and all of that kind of stuff. Yeah, it looks great on camera. And we haven't learned anything else. And I'm gonna be honest with you. If you haven't learned anything else, is that money doesn't absolutely automatically bring happiness and make sure everything goes right. And a lot of times, too much money fucks the whole shit up even worse, right? And everybody just becomes kind of cutthroat and becomes just obsessed with trying to obtain this status. And I look at the competition between Rockefeller and JP Morgan, and these dudes were obsessed with literally becoming the richest man in the world, right? And shout out to Eagle Eye Security. He, in one of our video promos, I say, if you understand what happened to this country during the Great Depression, if you really understand it, it changes your perspective when we start to talk about Illuminati. Because, and what I'm referencing is, this country was ass out. This country was to the point where it was only a very small percentage of individuals who still had wealth, right? The government itself was fucked. They had to come up and make some deals with these individuals to help save this country. Okay. And what were those deals? What kind of power was compromised? What advantage was given to this individual to say, Mr. Rockefeller, we really need for you to reinvigorate this economy, and you have enough money to do so. And he said, what's in it for me? Now, there's no telling what promise was made at that time. And it's my belief it's those individuals who represent what would be some sort of Illuminati. Those blue chip 1% families who controlled the wealth then, because if you look, those families have never fallen off. They've never lost favor. They've never lost privilege. They're somehow behind everything. And to the point where I hear a lot of people, HBCU. A lot of the HBCUs were developed by these barons. And it's just them saying, hey, Franklin Roosevelt, you got this new deal? Yeah, we'd like to build this building. But what do you need to build a building? You need steel. You need concrete, right? You need materials. You need petroleum. You need oil to power the machines. Who controlled those industries? Those two individuals. So the country pretty much was sold to them, in my opinion. If I'm going too deep, they better be ready when they come for me, right? Because I get stabbed. On my karate man.
I mean, we get the whole we get the board of education and the medical board from Rockefeller. So that's why a lot of the shit when people be talking about academia, I mean, yeah, it's dope to go to school and shit, but you know, I know people who like try to put down like YouTube and shit like that, and it's like, no, you gotta understand that the whole school board was basically built and modified by Rockefeller, and then the medical board was Rockefeller and Carnegie. And what they did was they closed down all these other hospitals and shit, and basically only let the schools and hospitals exist that goes under their
standard
agenda.
and their accreditation. You're absolutely right.
Yeah,
That's why universities have to be accredited. And if you look at it, you
right.
see, well, what does that mean? It means, well, what's the validity of what you're teaching and what systems does it connect to? I know this shit's over your head like a bulimic on a seesaw tonight. Don't get me wrong. I understand. It's Outlaw Radio. I warned y'all about this shit. Erica Hunt is in the chat room. She said maybe if we stop glorifying violence when we can see, then we can see some prevention. I think it's deeper than that. I think it's very irresponsible to blame our culture now and say, well, rap music and violence in rap fuck this country up. Well, you didn't need rap music when you didn't already had a civil war and 2 world wars and a Korean war and Vietnam. You don't need rap music to promote violence. You got a whole military of armed motherfuckers who worldwide go and enforce your will. Rap music ain't got shit to do with that, right? Okay, so while I think right now, in the short term, if youngsters are constantly getting fed subconsciously, you know, these flashing methods of kind of imprinting the violence and callousness on their brain, yeah, that does have an effect. But I mean, John Wayne was killing Indians years before the first hip hop, before Kool Herc ever threw a party, right? What's his name? Face of a Nation, W.D. Griffith. You know, he made the movie about black people being animals and the Ku Klux Klan being heroes and riding and murdering these people. The Great Crusades happened thousands of years before New York was even thought about, in which Christians said, we gonna teach these Muslims a lesson. We gonna go over there and make their ass read the Bible. The Muslims said, Allahu Akbar. Get your ass off my continent. Sent them right back to Europe, right? So, you know, we can blame it. I think that's a post-traumatic slave thing too, is for us to accept blame for everything that's fucked up in the world. If it wasn't for black people, wouldn't be no drug abuse. Bullshit. If it wasn't for black people, wouldn't be no murder. Bullshit. Right? I mean, you can blame us, but we got to stop wearing the jacket. So when Erica says we glorified, I do kind of feel that there's this thing where we feel like it's a badge of honor to be dysfunctional. I'm a bad motherfucker. Man, please, I was a real nigga out here shooting shit like a motherfucker. I shoot up a nigga house, shoot his grandmama, shoot his kids, and damn, that's fucking horrible. But he's treated like a hero when he walk around the neighborhood. The dude who
Man,
went to school,
you know what? Hey, Kev, you know, we don't think about that shit we be saying like that. Like how people be glorifying these fucked up hoods and shit where motherfuckers be getting mass murdered in. I was watching a DVD, not a DVD, a video today on YouTube.
You wasn't watching no DVD.
Right. I don't know what the hell made me say that. But anyway, man, I was watching YouTube, man, and it was about St. Louis. You know what I'm saying? Like over the years, like how fucked up St. Louis is. You know what I'm saying? And then they had you know, where some different rappers are from St. Louis, so they were showing different clips.
From St. Louis.
They on there, you know, they glorifying this block they from, man, and they, you know what I mean, talking about how many motherfuckers, they talking about how many people get killed and all this shit. And then they flip over to Sexy Red, and she was like, yeah, you know, I'm just a product of my environment. And I thought to myself, God damn, that was some of the dumbest shit, but that was some of the realest shit she could have said. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, the place ain't no good, man, but then she glorifying this joint. Like, it's the shit, you know what I'm saying? But we don't think about that, man. Why do we glorify this shit?
Okay, so that's kind of like a great synopsis, Kamar, of you know how we process. And I just told you, having to rationalize in order to survive kind of makes you normalize it, right? So you say, I came from this situation that was all fucked up. You know how I dealt with it? By being fucked up. And until your brain click and say, hold on, man, that's not shit you should celebrate. Only if you're celebrating it in the fact that look how far I have progressed since then, right? And I don't think we always process negativity for what it is, which is negativity. You say, man, ooh, my school lit. Why? Man, motherfuckers be getting their ass whooped every day. That's not lit, bro. That's not cool. But you say, oh man, that's cool. This school ain't live. Motherfuckers don't be fighting and shit. And
that shit toxic.
Be getting their ass kicked. And so the kids only realize years later that while all that fighting and dysfunction was going on, you ain't learned a motherfucking thing, right? Now your ass don't know shit. You up in the job talking about, man, I'm having a hard time understanding this machine and these motherfuckers won't explain it to me. No, you got a mop bucket waiting for you because it's lit. It's lit. Mopping floors is lit, right? That shit's lit. Get down there, have a good time. You like the bullshit, right? Go down there.
If it's your business and you get contracts with
that's the way out.
$1 million buildings, get your money.
Right. But you be the greatest janitor that ever lived, and congratulations to you and yours, right? I think Michael Jordan of mop bucket workers. Right? It's once again, it's so deep. Our problems run so deep that we often get into an argument about the argument. Like I could argue with Sean about, because I know Sean is about trying to prevent violence, right? I'm totally for the empowerment of the community. Me and him could just sit here and argue for hours about violence prevention versus trauma-informed care, and we could do that. But I don't feel like we have to or we need to. I feel like every perspective is valid. Everybody has a right to their opinion. And at the end of the day, it's going to take all of this shit for it to work. This got to be a gumbo. This can't be no single solitary dish, right? And that's why that's why now I've grown to be more open to people from totally different perspectives. That's why I want Brother Davy King to come on. That's why I'm going to welcome E&C Jordan. I want to hear what the black people who align themselves with the Republican Party. Then let's talk, but let's talk like black people. Don't get on here, and I know Ian ain't going to do it, and I don't believe the Brother David King would, because what's going to happen is if you get on Outlaw Radio with the Kool-Aid, the pitcher going to get knocked out your hand. Ain't nobody drinking that shit. You ain't going to feel bad. Like, look what they did to my Kool-Aid. And shit's all over the floor. But let's have a conversation. Let's not run from it. Because you know what they say? The opinions expressed on Outlaw Radio are solely those of the motherfucker that said it. Know who to be mad at.
Right.
Get that person's number. Call them after the show like, fuck you. And they don't care. Somebody keep calling my phone. Probably because of the dumb shit you said on Outlaw Radio, right?
You big dummy.
Listen. This is totally separate from that. And I didn't want to say anything about this because I believe a grown man's business is a grown man business. And this is twofold because we talk about black relationships, right? And we always talking about black love and black men and black women really being able to relate. The first thing I wanted to talk about was Young Jeezy getting a divorce from Jeannie Ma, his Asian bride that he had, I don't know. And I never really watched it. I hated the era of those women morning shows, The Talk, The View, The Soup, the Porridge, The Noodles, whatever the fuck it was. I hated those shows, right? I just felt like it was just a cackling, a forum for cackling ass hens. That might be the what they call it, male chauvinist in me. Yeah. But so he married her, married Jeannie Ma, and so 2 years ago they announced that now he filed for divorce. And that's nothing unusual because I think it's up to 50 to 60% of all marriages end in divorce. So it's not necessarily a guaranteed thing when you get married. But when they started saying, well, what is the reason? And I heard them say, well, they had a different idea on family values,
right? And
this kind of thing. And it made me say, now what does that mean? Right? And this is why I say the black man and the black woman, right? This is why we need to be able to vibe together. But no, he chose to go in a different direction. He wanted some Asiatic acrobatic. There you have it. Now get dramatic, right? And that's fine. That's fine, right? That's Big Daddy Kane. That's fine.
That's what they do.
That's what he wanted, right? Well, I guess. I don't know. But but now we talk about family values. We talk about they have differences, different perspectives and points of view. Now, y'all know she had been known to say racist shit in the past, right? Just talk about not messing with black men. And then when she got a black man, she was all about, I got this black penis in my life and I'm swinging on it every night. So this reinforces the importance of, to me, reinforces the importance of black men and black women to try to coexist. And it's nothing wrong with you dealing with anyone outside your race, but when we look at our community and say the lack of black fathers, the lack of black husbands, the lack of stand-up black brothers in the community, I don't think it's time for us to run outside yet. I think we got to fix the house before we start going next door. Kamar, what you think about this? Because I saw you saying, "Oh, this shit right here." So, have you paid attention to this?
Yeah, I mean, I thought the same thing, and that was the part that caught my attention too, because I wanted to know why is this a big issue? You know what I mean? So what? They getting divorced, you know what I mean? But then when I read the reasons, like you said, you know what I mean, is the family values, morals, difference about raising their kids or something like that. You know what I mean? And I thought about the cultural differences. You know what I mean? Like different what our moral standards versus maybe they moral standards or where she from. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's how I looked at it. You know what I mean? And I always thought that could be one of the biggest. That could be the biggest issue in the interracial relationship. You know what I mean? Like how the kids are raised. Like, say for instance, it was a Christian woman and a Muslim man raising a child. You know what I'm saying? Like it's gonna be issues like how our child gonna be raised. Like what we gonna do when, you know what I mean? And that's something to think about.
Absolutely, and that's a great way to frame it, bro. And so like even like if we're talking about when we have a kid together, and then all of a sudden I notice, wait a minute, my baby is around her Asian family. Just they're unfilled, like they have unlimited connection. But then I say I want to take her by my mama house. You got an issue. I don't want her around your sister or her kids. And it's like, well, hold on, wait a minute.
I don't want them in the A.
Right, you know, I Buckhead. I don't know Atlanta. So I don't
want them in the trap. I don't want them to trap or die.
Right. Like, well, wait a minute. My mama lives, and knowing him, he's got enough wealth to say, my mama live in a gated community. What the fuck you talking about? But it's still in the black culture. Like that baby might come home with her hair braided a certain way. She might come home saying what her grandmama told her to say. And now she's saying, well, wait a minute. She didn't hold up. Wait a minute. Who told you to put some nigga in it? Right. So I was wondering, was it that as well, Kamar? I was wondering, was it, as I know they wasn't arguing over whether they should eat egg rolls or fried chicken. I felt like it was deeper than that. It's like, you know, wait a minute. Because we do.
Egg rolls.
Well, you know, we have different. She might say, well, my great grandmother was a Buddhist, and I've always held on to that. And Young Jesus say, hold on, my grandmama was a Christian. I'm trying to do his ad libs, snowman, and all that bullshit, right?
Yeah.
right. So, because he even filed for joint custody, and then he's saying that he signed a prenup the day before they got married, and they're challenging the validity of it. And some people are saying, well, that's what your ass get. You know, my mom used to say she can't use your comb, don't bring her home. I don't know if that's valid for everybody. But I do believe that there's, and then the flip side of this is now, do look at a case of black love. And Kamar, I have to call on your memory again, because years back we did a show, because I had put a post up on Facebook in which I said Papoose was a cornball. Do you remember this show? And this was when you first had started to really come on regularly. And I had put up a post that said Papoose is a cornball. I know it when I see it, right? And people said, nah, he held this girl down, he loved her. Now I don't know if these rumors are true, but she's out here with a young battle rapper. I don't know how true this is. Once again, I live in the podverse, so I'm watching. But I said that's what happened to cornballs, though. Eventually, that's what she is going to do to you. I've never been really a fan of his. I think he's a good rapper, but I listened to him on Sirius. I'm like, this dude sucks. I'm sorry. I didn't mean, because I don't want to hate on another black man. As a host of a radio show, as a rapper, he's very talented, but his music has never really caught hold, right? And I feel like he almost sacrificed his career for hers. Her affiliation through, Fat Joe and Terror Squad has gotten her a lot more fame. So he's always kind of been along for the ride. But if in fact that she is giving him the jukes for this battle, this young unaccounted for young nobody battle rapper, I say that's what happens to suckers, right? Like I don't I'm looking at this like almost, and it's bad on me. This is bad on me, right? For even feeling this way, but that's what happens to simps.
That's that Capricorn shit.
And if you really remember, Kamar, women lit us up that night. And you remember, like, there was women in the chat room who would just going crazy on us because I said he's a cornball. And this ain't got nothing to do with no cultural significance, and then I just thought the shit was funny. So I had to bring it up.
I'm so about to ask. What the fuck?
Hey, well, you like you said, you know what I mean? She was the one with the bag. You know what I mean? He held on to that bag as long as he could. Shit.
Oh, is that what it's about?
I don't know, man. I'm saying, man, hey, you know, I'm optimistic, man. You know what I mean? Let me find the bright side of everything.
Well,
that wasn't the bright side.
Hey, man.
Tyler Perry told these rich sisters to start giving these Tyler Perry told the rich sisters to start giving broke brothers a break, man. He said, y'all got to come off that shit. Y'all need to start dating these broke ass black men. I thought that was funny because Mike Kimmel was in the chat room the other night saying absolutely not true. Black men earn more money still on average over black women. I think in a relationship it shouldn't really matter. Either it's us or it's individuals, right? Like if everybody has a up, everybody has a down. You might be on top today and then tomorrow need a sandwich. That's why when you love somebody, you work through each other's. You say, okay, while you're down, I'm gonna hold you down, and vice versa. I thought that's what the whole thing was supposed to be about. Vince Tony said David King told me today he'll come on your show. He said, I believe it when I hear him on the show. I don't like what's wrong. What's the big bad outlaw radio? Come on, brother. Yeah. Ain't nothing. Listen. It's all conversation. And there will be no disrespect, and it will be a very objective as well as subjective conversation. There's no need for anybody to avoid my platform because I'm not a Republican. What you mean? No, Sean.
That ain't it, bro. I'm gonna tell y'all what it is. I'm gonna tell y'all what it is. Outlaw Radio is racist, rude, and wrong, right?
Okay.
Yeah, bro, and they can't take this shit.
I don't know when we've ever been racist. Well, okay, sometimes.
Come on now, we be racist.
Sometimes I am.
Especially you. You're really racist.
Right. I mean, if that's what we're gonna just blame it all, right? We're gonna blame it all on me, right?
Of course.
I mean, I'll take the blame. It ain't no big deal. Let me see. Let me catch my chat room. Shout out to Mariah. She said you're supposed to speak on family values before you have children. Yeah, you are supposed to. I think some people may underestimate. They underestimate that whole thing in terms of just sharing DNA. That whole process. I think some brothers just really need to pause first and say, "Hold on," because you might wake up with somebody. Because everybody puts on the front when they first meet, right? It's the mask. They call it the honeymoon period, and then one day you see her without her makeup on, or you meet her mama, or you meet her aunt, her sisters, and you be like, "Holy shit! I just mixed that with my jeans. I don't know what's finna happen." Vince Tony said there's no lack of black fathers, more like black father involvement. Sometimes his lack of involvement is his children's lives is not his fault. That's a very good point, Vince. That plays a role too in the destruction of our family and the disruption of our family. And yeah, we know the court because that child support shit is a motherfucker. And I've never dealt with it, but I've watched people very close to me who I have love for deal with it, and I've seen it almost break some cats. To say, man, I can't. This shit right here, something got to happen. Like brothers be thinking about digging a ditch. Like, calm down, man.
Plan
B
broke me.
What you say, Real?
I said I dealt with this shit. It almost broke me, man. I went from making like $30-something an hour to making $12 an hour, and I didn't know to go to court and get my shit adjusted. I thought I had to go to my kid's mama or my ex-wife, and every time I went to her, she would use it as like a bargaining chip. Well, I might take you off of it if you let me have the kids more type shit. Cause we had a 50-50 custodial placement. So I had them 50% of the time, she had them 50% of the time. And although I was 100% responsible to care for them the 50% of the time I had them, I was also responsible to help her care for them the 50% of the time her and her husband had them. So it was at times, man, where after working a fucking 160 hours a month working, I had $800. I seen $800 with $1,000 mortgage. So I had to supplement that shit, Other ways, thankfully I made it through. But, eventually I did find out I didn't have to go to her and beg her and shit like that. And when I finally went to court, they seen that my income has significantly changed.
And they
So
fixed
they took me off of it. But
right,
then
okay.
she filed a whatever to go back to court trying to get it switched up, and they ended up putting her ass on it. So I got to enjoy getting child support for 2 years before my boys were 19 and 18.
Right. Shout out
Yeah.
to Samantha Collier. How you doing, my sister? Team Teal 365, and one of the hosts of the Call to Action podcast, in which Kamara and myself were fortunate enough to be interviewed on a couple months back. Shout out to Ticey Gossi as well, and Crystal Ship, who always calls in and represents positivity. I don't care what I'm talking shit about. Crystal will call in and set me straight, like, "Oh no, man, you're doing too much." It don't stop me from talking shit, but I appreciate the positivity, right? Shots out. Oh no, show don't stop it, Sean. You're complicit. You're complicit. You are also involved. You are involved.
No, I'm not, man.
Right.
have no part
Sean, you started an argument with damn near every guest we've ever had on the show. Like they just waiting on them to start some shit.
No, I haven't. And I want to say to Rail, yeah, bro. I would have needed violence prevention at that moment. Trauma informed care wouldn't have did shit for me. Yeah, they'd be like, yeah, somebody need to intervene. Damn, bro.
Yeah, man, shit. My story was a motherfucker. Like even repeating it, I'd be like, damn, I made it. But I got a book out of it, and I might go ahead and start doing motherfucking consultations to other brothers who find themselves stuck in that child support shit. Cause at one point in time, fam, like, cause I got sick and lost my job at AT&T, so it was a whole year of me not able to pay child support, but they thinking they was still getting that $32 an hour. So it was time, man. I had my kids and shit. They suspended my license. They suspended they wouldn't allow me to renew my fishing license. I couldn't get a hunting license. So I'm like, damn, I ain't making money because they whacking me for child support at work. But if I wanted to even hunt to feed my kids, I have to do that shit illegally because of the child support I got to pay for the kids I got 50% of the time.
Motherfucker back in jail because he got caught with some squirrels.
Right.
What you do with all them squirrels? You ain't got no license.
He got to walk around with a bow and arrow.
He better not. He ain't got no license.
Oh yeah.
Right, you can't.
He got a rock in his pocket. I'm gonna throw the shit out this rock and hit one of these squirrels. God damn it,
baby Goliath.
Right. No. Listen. And if we get into the depths of talk about child support, and we have a lot of I wouldn't even say a lot, but we have a number of deadbeat individuals who, like this brother who has 17 children by all these women here in Milwaukee, and they're saying he doesn't pay child support to any of them. Well, I look at that and I say, well, that's kind of fuckery, because as a taxpayer, I gotta foot your load. I got to carry your weight for your 17. And that makes brothers who are saying, nah, I don't got a lot of money, but I want to be a father. Then those policies are even more harsh on them. And they say, well, why me? Well, because it's brothers who don't take care of their business. Now, I do want to say this. It doesn't take a whole lot of money to be a great dad, but it does take some. Okay. You can't be broke. It's almost nothing you could do if you broke. There's almost nothing you can accomplish if you're broke. But when it starts being about fatherhood, just sometimes conversing with your child, showing up to see him, and giving them what you have, it helps. But a lot of times the mom's tongue and her energy be so toxic in those kids' ears. Yo, daddy ain't shit. Yo, daddy did this. Yo, daddy did that. He ain't got no goddamn money. You get kids who like, well, I want to come stay with you for the weekend, Pops, but yo, she ain't got shit over there. They talking about going to Disneyland this weekend. I'm gonna go and roll with moms, right? Like, I don't want to, but the proactive dads, if you have a relationship with your kid strong enough, your son will say, I don't care about that. I'm gonna go chill with my pops. Shit, I'm finna kick it with pops. Yeah, y'all go ahead and go to Disneyland. I'll be with pops. It's a 50-50 chance. You never know. That's why you got to be careful who you share your DNA with.
Plan B.
Well, there's that. But I mean, you can't force it on someone. And like I always say, as men, I don't believe we should tell women what to do with their bodies. So if I came over there and made a mistake and was irresponsible enough to get you pregnant, I don't really have the right to say you're gonna have to get rid of that motherfucker. If she say I don't want to do it, then you fuck.
Let me go on and get cussed out. Let me go and get cussed out. They about to say some bullshit about me, but I don't care.
Okay.
I expect it. I'm opening the door for it. I gotta say this. That'll be one roofie that she wake up off of feeling really, really good about.
Damn.
Because that motherfucking Plan B is going in that motherfucking drink, in that Coke, in that Pepsi, in that Mountain Dew. We gonna crunch that motherfucker up. I'll put it in her food. I don't care. You taking this though. Especially if she looked like what you said she looked like earlier. Yeah, that was one of them fucked up nights. Yeah, we not doing that.
The opinions expressed on Outlaw Radio solely those are the motherfucker that said it. No, you mad at this brother just said he roofing motherfuckers. That is Sean Moore, the capo of the streets, right?
Oh shit. I say what people want.
No one.
I say what people want to say, and they just scared to say it, man.
Okay, you can stand on
that. I don't want to say that.
Talk about she need her insulin. Hold on, let me put this shit up in here.
Just make it worse. Rail said I add more to it before I take it back. God damn it! I ain't taking no 11 o'clock ass whooping. I'm taking a 3 a.m. ass whooping.
Talk about my ice cream.
Where you been? Funny. Apparently, I've been out all goddamn night. Whoop my ass, shit. Nah, listen. I don't know. I absolutely don't agree with roofing anyone, and I still.
I said, listen, that's not. I said the Plan B will be the roofie, bro. I'm putting the Plan B.
Well, it's still roofie as a roofie. I don't know.
No, it ain't.
It was just a Plan B.
Look, I ain't trying to have no sex. I'm trying to prevent you from having something.
Well, I would just hope maybe you should just be more preventative and just be more careful with where you lay your shit. You one of them nights.
Listen, man, I've been in a relationship for 28 years. I'm just throwing some shit out there, having some fun.
It's all good.
And
what a great time we're having, right?
Yes, we are. I'm having a ball.
Especially you feeling real good. Talking about, yeah, I put this shit in the insulin. I put it in the insulin bottle and shit.
Yeah, all type of food. She gonna have all type of sprinkles on her ice cream.
Oh my God, no! Powdered sugar. Real, I don't know if you can help. I don't know if you can even make that because you said you kind of agree. I don't know if you knew he was gonna say roofie, but it seemed like you was riding with him for a minute.
Nah, I do believe you have the right to say how you feel this shit should go, especially if she's anticipating your help, support, and time for the next fucking at least like I would say 18 years, but shit. I got grown kids that I still gotta pay phone bills for and shit. So you know what I'm saying? So it's more than 18 years, but yeah, I believe you got the right to be like, hey, look, I don't think we should be doing this, and I don't want it. And I'm willing to go ahead and help you handle it. But if you choose to have it, I'm letting you know beforehand that this is all you and this is on you.
It ain't mine.
Unfortunately, legally, it doesn't work that way.
None of that mean nothing.
Don't mean
it don't, but it does allow you to still be like when they get to,
Plan B.
When they get talking about how you ain't there, shit like that, you can say, "Hey, you knew this shit before you had it."
I with Kamari. You got the right to say it, but it don't mean a goddamn thing.
It definitely does, but it help you be a little bit more okay with how you might have to move.
For real, because I'm gonna tell it. Look, I went and bought a whole bottle of the motherfucking Plan B's. You didn't want to take them. You want to stick with Plan A. So yeah, here you go. And I'm gonna tell little buddy.
How about don't be fucking on her? You know what I'm saying? Until we feel like that's what we like, or use protection.
Plan B.
There you go. The golden one.
Protection, man.
It is a protection from child support.
No. They say proper preparation prevents poor performance,
with,
right? And
with
so
Plan B.
that means you didn't prepare and you wasn't proper in your preparation.
I was
And then
prepared
now you
because
premeditating the murder of a child.
I properly planned to bring at least three fucking Plan Bs with me.
I mean, I don't know why so you the Plan B guy. So I don't know if even that. I've never even seen one. What is that even? Is it a pill? I don't even know. Somebody, let me know.
Yeah, I ain't never seen one.
And you know, it's a plant that grow in most of our yards.
Oh shit!
Called Queen Anne's lace.
Yeah.
Okay.
You've seen it before. It's round. It look like lace. It's a flower.
Mm-hmm.
Like lace. Now you got to be careful because Queen Anne's lace kind of look like poison hemlock. So I'm not telling anybody to do anything, but Queen Anne's lace is known to basically, if you're gonna make a tea out of it, they warn against making a tea out of it during pregnancy because it will go ahead and terminate that shit.
So let me ask you this, Real.
Yes,
now,
sir.
The other plant that look like this, if I accidentally give her that, what's gonna be the side effects?
She dead. It's called poison hemlock.
Rail, I need for you not to encourage him. I need for you not to encourage this brother, man.
I'm just gonna stick with Plan B, Real.
And I don't want Sean attending no young fatherhood classes where brothers is about to be fathers because Sean getting there.
I am not a doctor or a medical professional. I'm just giving you some research material to look up Queen Anne's lace, how it looks, and its indigenous usages.
Or they have this other thing called a Trojan, and you can purchase it in a store.
Yeah, that shit don't work all the time.
Or you can bring.
Well, I mean, it's at least you tried, Real. I mean, it's better to better to try because in that case,
it work a hell of a lot better than it don't work.
Hold on.
More times than not. But hold on, and I also want to say this: that's a different conversation when you say, "Look, you knew this was nothing, and you knew that I tried to use protection." And even still, she might say, that's all good. But the one thing about it is this baby is coming. So if I was you, I'd get my business right.
And there's also a Trojan horse that we can have the pills in.
Oh, my God. Okay.
I mean, hey, we got to keep all the bases covered.
Right.
Even if you're using condoms. Condoms don't work all the time. Right, shit bust.
Or she might pull the shit out the garbage because she
all type of shit.
Those are the exceptions, not the norms. And listen, I that's okay. So if that's
you give her a Plan B afterwards, bro. Hey, listen, we use this condom, but hey,
okay,
we
Sean,
never know.
I would ask you another question that a woman would probably say is, if you know you live in that life and you don't want children, why don't you go have a vasectomy? And that way, there's no threat at all.
And if you live in that life and you know I don't want no kids by you, why don't you go get your tubes tied temporarily?
It sounds like we shouldn't be having sex with each other. This is what this conversation sounds like. This is not just.
Well, we won't be.
Right.
But yeah, that's just it is what it is. That's how we. Yeah, if you're gonna tell me to go and get my shit cut, I'm gonna tell you to go get tied.
The reality is, fam, like, you know, definitely under ideal circumstances, you might be two people that vibe on a more spiritual level and can see some sort of future. But the reality is some people don't like each other beyond fucking. Like they might
be responsible about it though.
They might vibe on that level, but her conversation ain't shit, his money ain't shit, whatever it is. But that's the only thing they connect on.
I'm gonna keep it 100.
I just feel like a child shouldn't have to pay or lose their life because of somebody else's callousness. And if you know you live in, so you gotta what you call it the other day, Real, we talked about youngster robbing another youngster, he gets killed as occupational hazard, right?
Occupational hazard.
And so if you one of these people who out here just riding raw, Marlboro man, we used to call it Marlboro man. he don't even need no saddle. He jumped right on the horse. Yeah, he on the horse. He gone, right? He said, man, you a Marlboro man. If that's the way you live in your life, then I don't think you can complain if you end up with 7 kids by 8 women, right? I don't think when you mired in child support debt that you can blame anybody but yourself, because you knew that pregnancy was an occupational hazard of your lifestyle and you failed to deal with it. So then I look at you and say, bro, that's on you, man. I was drunk.
That's what.
Well, maybe you
Listen,
shouldn't have drank so much. Like, it's now, Rail, I do understand too that there's situations where people might be together. They might just be really enjoying each other and not thinking, well, let's have a family. Right. And I would respect any man who would say to her, look, I just don't feel like I'm ready to be a father. I'm not ready to do this. I would ask that we get rid of it. And if she says, fuck that, I'm not killing my baby, then as a man, he got to say, shit, I got to buckle up, because now, whether you like it or not, the child is here and you are that child's pappy.
You there for the long ride.
Right.
and that's why
Yeah.
that's why
That's
you
how
got
it
to
go.
make sure that she know her ABCs.
Oh my gosh, here this dude go. I've tried to fish you out of this creek several times, but you just want to go swimming.
Yep,
So
I'm in it tonight. I'm waiting on somebody to call in and try to comment. Yeah. So
I wish
I'm
one
ready
of our
for that
sisters
shit
would
tonight.
call in and straighten you out.
I wish
I
somebody
really
would. I wish somebody would.
262-202-5131. Please address.
I'm
the
with all the
capital of the
smoke tonight,
streets.
baby. I'm with
Right,
all the
right.
smoke tonight, right? Because if you can lay down, if you can lay there and say, "Hey, come on, let's have sex," I can say, "Okay, we're gonna have sex, but you're gonna take this pill afterwards."
Oh, who's into that? I would hope if you said that to her, she'd be like, "Ew, I'm good. I'm not
Ain't nobody,
shit."
ain't
Like,
nobody
no.
think about you, Mariah.
She said, "Shut up."
Ain't nobody think about Mariah, man.
Get his ass, cuz. Get him.
Man, everybody think about
You
Mariah.
ain't worried about no disease.
Well, shit.
It's
Right.
just the
Fuck
baby.
it.
Yeah, you heard me say, even with the condom, I need her to know her ABCs.
Okay.
Lord have mercy. We got a caller. I'm hoping this is an angry sister. Who we got on the line?
I'm angry as fuck.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
angry as fuck. How in the fuck you 56 years old talking about making a baby, my guy? What's wrong with you, Sean?
No, I'm not talking about. Now,
Nigga,
see, you didn't hear it all.
Listen, bro, you shouldn't be fucking with nobody that still can have kids. You should be fucking with women that's old.
All your girls have been through menopause.
Man, what do you listen? No, for real, bro. I swear to God. The only time I never think about killing myself. No lie, for real, no bullshit. But if a woman came up pregnant, I would. I don't want that shit in my life. I don't like kids, for one. I'm going to keep it real with you. I don't give a fuck if it's mine. I got one. My daughter will be 30 years old in January. I don't want to be bothered with that shit all over again, bro. I was listening to you niggas just now. I went through that. Man, I just got done paying child support in 2017. I went through hell. Hell, do you hear me? I don't never want a woman to have that much control over me because I leaked up in her. You know what I'm saying? I was just telling my, you know what I'm saying, my lady today, I said, you know, I'm 46. I don't want to do it a lot. And I had to keep it real with her. I said, look, I don't want to do it like that because you can still get pregnant and we can't take care of that here. You know what I'm saying? And having an abortion ain't nothing
you don't
cool
got to
about
do
that,
it
bro.
a lot. You don't got to do it once, have a baby.
Yeah, I know, but still, though, I be like, I'm going to keep it real with you. I know how to take it out. Now, I know all y'all know how to, you might not think it works. I ain't had no slip up at one time. And I don't know about that, though. You know what I'm saying? I ain't going to say all that, but I don't know about that. But I got one child, and I've been active. Because you can feel it coming, and don't let it get right to the head. You got to feel it in your stomach and snatch that motherfucker out and spread her booty and hit it on her butt. You know what I'm saying? But Sean, come on, bro. You can't. Bro, you better get you a bar that got her tubes tied, bro. I wouldn't even want to talk to a female if she talking about I can still get pregnant. Block. You can still get pregnant. Block. Block. On the real. Block. She's supposed to damn near be a great grandma. And I'm gonna keep it real with you, like I was telling my guys there, right? I said I don't really like fucking with women with a lot of kids. Because if you fuck with a woman that got 5 or 6 kids, she gonna have like 30 grandkids. And them motherfuckers gonna be over y'all house all the time. You ain't gonna never be able to get no privacy and nothing like that. But yeah, though, bro, I don't know what you talking, man. You insane. They might have to take you back down to Milwaukee County for a little while, nigga. You insane on the plan B. On the real, man. Clip, all that shit. On the real, you should be like, let me see your papers. Matter of fact, 45, 46. You got coochie still same.
Oh
Nick, don't let that shit fool you though, because the only thing the hysterectomy is they take out their reproductive organs. But she still got the uterus. I mean, she still got the coochie. We ain't going that far up. I don't want to feel no woman reproductive organs. I'll be feeling that little ball when you put them legs. Like, man, listen, man. I used to have fun back in the days. And that's why I be telling Hood man, kid, like, you man, listen, man, I'm a hood nigga, man. I'm a real nigga, man. I'm still in, and I be in the streets, man. I be knowing what be going on, bro. Like, I was telling my guy a couple days ago, it was bitches out here that was fucking for Wendy's meals. Wendy's meals. I used to pop X and everything, bro. I remember you ain't used to have to know a bitch name. You be like, you pop, you smoke, you drink. They going. They spinning like Davins. Do you hear me? I'm talking about bam, bam, bam. You know I keep Big Boom Boom room. I told you that was my fourth van. So I'm talking about nigga. Ooh, wait.
Good
You
Lord.
just don't know.
Hey,
And this is a perfect example of what Mike Epps said about old men with vans, right?
On the
He's
real,
riding around
hey,
with a whole house on wheels, right?
When niggas be lying like they ain't dope dated and all that, nigga, I kept a 16 to the side because it was some bad hypes in the hood.
God.
And I'm smashing.
What?
I'm taking it from the back. Yeah, everything. We had one used to wear lace panties. Ooh, that girl get naked. And that was my guy, baby mama, too. Oh, Lord, he came looking for her. We had her in the basement stretched out.
Dion,
I'm like a dub, my nigga.
I'm gonna have to mute your whole
Hey,
mic.
man. But
Hey, them was the good old days. Keep it real, though.
There were not
Niggas
good.
be
Those
lying.
were not good days.
Man, it was, man.
Not good.
Man, real. You said $20. Where you getting it all
Oh
by
my God! This
man,
dude
listen,
said $20.
I'm saying it, man. It was simple back then. It was simple. You don't get the hypes. You know you don't get the hype. You get the ones that's looking good. She probably smoke a little primo, and you know you be like, it could be your guy, mama, her sister, whatever. You just put a little bug in her ear, and next thing you know, she comes to you like, boy, you still talking about that?
So
and she put
Dion,
the rubber in your hand. You know,
Dion, let me say this. The opinions expressed on Outlaw Radio are solely those of the motherfucker that said it, right? Know who to be mad at. This is Dion. This ain't. I'm not condoning dope dating. I'm not condoning you and your guy tag teaming. I ain't talking about holding up some booty butt cheeks with you. All this shit when you said I am a real nigger, that's some real nigger shit right there.
hey,
That's all real nigger. On the real though, man, listen, 40. Y'all know what the 40 is, and ain't nothing wrong with it though.
He's still talking about.
I don't think nothing wrong with it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't think nothing, because you getting it out the way though. When you in a relationship, you gonna spend more money being in a relationship. Even to go out on a date costs $100. But if she talking about that 40, slide them 220, them 8.5, 40 singles, some quarters, whatever. You go on and be like, hey, you know, put a condom on and go on and do what you gonna do. But Sean, listen, man, if she can still have babies, bro, you don't need it. I'm gonna keep it real with you. You leave that alone, that's gonna bite into your Newport money. I see you like to smoke. That's gonna bite into your Newport money. All that type of shit. Yeah, you leave that alone, man. I'm back at home base. Now I gotta swap some trailers and get ready to go. I'm about to log out and finish listening to you guys, man. But Sean, you stay away from that though, bro. I'm gonna be real disappointed if I hear you talking about you had a baby, bro. I'm be like, man, I told this nigga, on the real, bro. You 66 years old, you talking about going out here trying to slide or something. On the real, you fucking around and catch one of them diseases, eat your wee-wee up. On the real,
now the fact that you just used the word wee-wee. We got to end this call, right?
So hold on. Let me. I have to.
All right, go. Love y'all.
No,
all right, Dion.
Hey man, I have to rebut that.
You big dummy.
I never said I was trying to have more kids. Before I said it, I thought I explained that, you know, it was all in fun. And I want to ask Mariah.
You know, that's the kind of shit you play around with. That you always getting at me. People listening.
But I want to ask Mariah if she still want me to shut up, because we can bring Dion
let me get
back
to my
on.
chat room. Mama Jenkins said this definitely Outlaw Radio tonight. Yeah, every now and then the shit spins out of control. This is what happens when you sit around a bunch of black dudes and start talking, the shit goes left.
You welcome.
She said Outlaw for real. She said my side hurting. This shit funny as hell. I mean, this brother was talking about like the real intricacies of dope dating. Like
Yes,
it's wildest shit ever. Mariah said
Do's
tonight I
and
definitely
don'ts
learned
of shit.
everything my brothers never wanted me to know. Absolutely. Sire, what it do, bro? What it do?
What
man?
up, Sire?
All right. This is just the people, the supporters that I rock with who call in and make these comments. He said, did he say your god mama? I don't
He
even know.
did. Yes, he did.
He said
Or
wee wee.
sister.
He said all kinds of stuff,
Yeah,
and my
he
ears are
said
just
your
shutting
guy,
down
my guy,
more and
mama
more.
or sister.
And
Right.
I don't.
I
This
can
is
see he said
why.
auntie or
This is
something,
why
bro.
fathers, please talk to your daughters. Like really, like be there, give them hugs, tell them that you love
Yeah.
them. That's why I didn't mind doing the tea party with mine. Right, I sat there with the thing on my head and sipped the fake tea because I wanted her to know, Daddy got you. And under no circumstances do I want you with a dude who gonna say, we can do it, but you got to get a plan B. You do not need to be within 100,000 feet of that dude, right?
Hold on. After everything that you just heard from Dion, you went to me?
Well, Dion is on a whole other level. Like Dion took,
bro. He passed out $40. I'm passing out Plan B.
Right.
I
Well,
just
yeah.
saved her a
He said
lifetime of
20.
profit.
He was reminiscing on the days when $20 can get you taken care of. And I'm just like, that wasn't the kind of loving H-Town was talking about when they made Knocking the Boots. That's not the good loving. That's some nasty, trifling, disgusting shit. And so yeah, the Dion, and then I'm not gonna repeat it. Y'all want to hear what he said? Just listen to the show over. It is what it is. Shout out to Dion, man. Dion is Mr. Milwaukee, as far as I'm concerned, because Dion represents a perspective that is for real Milwaukee. And if you talk to a lot of brothers from the city, you'd be surprised that the conversation is very similar. So it is what it is, man. But yeah, Outlaw Radio, man. It's a Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Conflicts and confusion, because I'm definitely confused as fuck. Now I don't even know where to go with the show. I don't know what to talk about. I was gonna talk about Deion Sanders and all this kind of stuff. I don't know. Okay, let's take it on. So they found the 3 children that were missing. They found the 3 children. People like, you really? That's how you're gonna bring it back? Yeah. The 3 children that were now. The unique thing about this is these children were released from Benjamin Franklin Elementary School. 3 siblings. And I still don't have the details on who actually, where did they find them? And I seen the reporter from Channel 4 trying to ask questions to Keith Posley and this guy. Man, they were like, get the fuck out of here. I'm coming here and disrupting the meeting. She like, ain't the meeting over? The lady said, I don't know. Shit, I just got here. I said, what the fuck is up with MPS? Like, if somebody has information on these babies, and where were they? Because they was missing for some days.
They was on the deck.
On the deck.
Yeah, Benjamin Franklin.
They was just outside for 3-4 days.
I don't know, man. I mean,
okay.
Come on, shit.
Okay.
How the hell
Mariah said they was with the daddy's mom. Okay, they were with the dad's mom. Okay.
Didn't I say last time it was family?
You did. That's why I'm like, why you gonna come now and fuck it up by saying they was on the deck? Dion got you. He got you influenced. I don't need you 2 brothers together. Y'all motherfuckers get in trouble. I'm like, dude, the boys in the hood. Yo, doe, let me out. Let me out. Let me out.
No, because I'm not offering her $40 to give her a Plan B. She only gets the Plan B. Man. I'm like, I ain't got $40 for her.
I was on such a real tilt tonight because we discussed the city budget. We talked about the importance of voterhood. We talked about the black men and black women really work it out and reinvest in our family structure. And then the shit just became about Plan Bs and dope dating. And I still can't even tell you what the fuck happened. I'm gonna have to listen to the show and be like, oh my God. We're gonna have to start editing, right? Let me see. Sire said I was dropping off Plan Bs the other night. Some guy ordered some.
There you go.
Okay.
See?
So is that your business, Sire? I don't know. That's what you do.
He drop off plan just like me. Shit, that's what I want to do. Drop off Plan Bs.
Yeah, I'm cool. Mariah said they was running away from the foster home. So the mom, okay, so they were having problems in foster care, and the dad's mom, grandmama stepped in and said, fuck this, y'all come with me. Okay. That makes sense.
That sounds like a granny.
Oh, he said he door dashes. Okay, I was gonna say, damn, Sire out here dropping off Plan Bs. Like, so the next time somebody call me and be like, kid, man, I'm in a bad situation. I'll be like, hold on, let me call a homie. Sire, where you at?
Call Sire.
I thought he just had him on GP. Like, what's the address, kid? Tell them to cash at me my money. I'm glad they found them babies though, man. And I hope whatever, I don't even know a whole lot about it. I hope whatever circumstances led to those children being in a situation where they would be removed from the home is remedied. It's just one of many problems that we got to deal with in Milwaukee. Like
Hey man,
it's many different levels of dysfunction in our city, man. We look at the choices that our kids have to make every day and what some of them are up against. And it is why I do tell them they need to be more accountable for their own behavior and start thinking about the future. Sometimes future don't exist in their vocabulary. They'll say future. The fuck do that mean? Motherfucker, I'm trying to live till Saturday.
Right.
Right. So and I didn't hear our esteemed mayor reference anything for the babies in the city. I didn't hear him say youth development, and I didn't hear it. And maybe if he referenced that, somebody, straighten me out. Let me know. Mariah says they trying to bring charges against the 69-year-old grandmother. Yeah, that's foul. That's foul work. And I don't know. I can't give a character testimony for her. I don't know. Maybe hopefully she ain't no, dysfunctional person. And I hope she had the kids' best interests at heart. It's just sad to see, man, that this is the kind of shit that's going on with our babies. And we continuously ask them to maintain and be focused and be these good little kids. And, why you won't go to school and sit your ass down and learn? And you have no clue what that child is going through at home. And it's a sad situation. So, and that's one of those things, man, where racist white people, like people who support the Margaret Sanger idea to say, well, this is the Negro problem that I was talking about. That's why I wanted to take poor and disenfranchised people and make sure that they were neutered or that they couldn't have children, because we didn't want to have to take care of a bunch of little nigger babies. Right. And so that's what her whole thing with. So if you go to Planned Parenthood, understand you support Margaret Sanger's vision for Black America. Hey, man, your po ass ain't got no business having no kid. Cut your shit off. Right. Which is a whole other conversation, real. Right. Like that's.
Hey, shit. I mean, sometimes there's necessary evils, man, especially before my taxes get to paying for shit.
Yeah, I mean, because, and I want to be honest and transparent. I mean, how many of us have ever looked at two people and said, them motherfuckers ain't had no business having a baby together? Just because they were both so dysfunctional and needy. That didn't mean I wanted them to undergo surgical procedures. I just felt like those just said, girl, I ain't ready to be no parent. My life is all over the place. And she should have said, me either. Not right now. If we want to do that, let's work towards, making ourselves better. I know that's wishful thinking. People like, Kev, what fucking planet do you live on? I get it.
I mean, on the daily shit, I take calls. Like I posted a status the other day about a call that had pissed me off. It was some girl like in her 20s, like 23, 24, had 4 kids at home with her mama. She called in to renew her shit, but she like, I've been on hold for 2 hours and I'm just irritated. Do I gotta be on hold anymore? It's like, dude, you getting $1,500 in food stamps. You got 4 kids, you getting child care. What is it, like $1,200 a kid per week now type shit for child care? So it's like, man, when you just kind of hear like the entitlement and laziness of some of these people, it's like you bitching about being on hold 2 hours when all you have to do is put your phone on speaker and sit it down and go about your fucking day. Like when people bitch about that type of shit, I don't want to be on hold all day. You ain't got no job and you calling for free money. It just kind of show you that some of these motherfuckers ain't never going to be employed either, because if they take that same entitlement and mentality to a workforce, them the same motherfuckers that's walking off the job because they ain't like how a motherfucker looked at them. And then they back on the line getting free assistance, which ultimately hits a lot of us.
Yeah, because then I got to take care of it. Exactly. They taking that shit out of my tax money.
Exactly.
Aya says, I wonder if the girl knew he ordered them or if he was just going to cook her breakfast in bed. Laugh out loud. He was outside waiting in the street pacing.
Oh, yeah, my type of dude. Ice cream and sprinkles, baby.
Right, he Zaire said he dropped him off to the brother. He was outside pacing like, "What's up, man? You got my delivery? All right, man. I'm about to go up in here. Did he get bacon and eggs and shit with it, Zaire? Did he order breakfast food with it? Like, damn, that's messed up. Mariah said Zaire, he probably just got off the phone with Sean, right?
Hey. I could have gave her $40 and you had never seen the baby.
Oh my God. Mariah said I got 3 kids and can't get anything. I think it's a blessing because I complain about that too. Like, damn, I can't get, but it's almost like I feel a little bit privileged. I feel blessed. I feel favored by God that I'm in a situation where I don't need to depend on that system. Now, if I needed it, best believe I go get it, as opposed to watching my kids suffer.
Right.
But I'm grateful to God that He just kind of built me in a way that I'm able to provide for mine, and I don't mind going to do it. I don't trip on, oh man, I ain't spending that. It is what it is. Prices done went up on everything. My kids gotta eat. They gotta have things. I don't really complain. I was having a conversation with a brother about inflation, and he was saying this shit it's the end of the world. It's the end of the world. Look how much shit costs. Like pretty soon, shit ain't gonna be able to function. And I said, well, my thing is when inflation goes up and prices go up and my costs become greater, I got to figure out a way to get more money. As opposed to sitting around complaining about it, I feel like, damn, I'm gonna have to hustle a little bit harder. I'm gonna have to find something else that I can do to subsidize myself. So that's just my perspective on it. People say, "Kid, everybody ain't you." I get it. That's right. You're right. You're correct. This is one of me. Well, 1.5 because my son is a junior. When he hits 18, then it'll be 2 of me. It'll be 2 men named Kevin, not a man and a boy. That's just my observation. A said, "Real, you better quit talking about people food stamps. They're gonna call you a Republican." That's not the worst thing to be called nowadays, right? David King, come on, brother. ENC Jordan, come on, brother. Let's talk turkey.
The only reason I didn't, I ain't gonna say the only reason, but one of the reasons I didn't vote in that election is because I wasn't voting for Biden. I real shit, and it might piss a lot of people off. I would have voted for Trump before I ever voted for Biden.
Okay. I was, I voted for Biden. Not that it's anybody's business, but for me, I've explained it many times. For me, it was just about being sick and tired of the who trying to put their kids to sleep. Is
that's my other phone coming on. My bad.
Oh, okay. I knew somebody was playing, Plan B my ass. He trying to put the little baby to sleep.
Music for your thoughts right there.
Right.
Man.
That's that sleep music and shit. You owe when you got sleep music on your phone and shit. But no. I just think we got to be more responsible. That's the whole point of this conversation. And when it comes to being Republican or Democratic, I think we got to stop thinking about it one-sided and listen, because like I said, I voted for Biden because I just had it up to here. And then what happened at the Capitol? I said, come on, man, because I felt like he was directly responsible for that. And there was an attitude amongst white people. They started getting really, really Brody. And I'm like, look, I don't want to have to fuck you up if you run up on me with that bullshit. And not that Biden promised a different kind of movement, but I just was tired of Trump. I was tired of Trump. I mean, I was literally tired of hearing his voice on the news every day. I was tired of seeing his face.
I wanted to see what that platinum package was going to be about. Shit, he at least talked to Q. Biden just said, let me win first, and then he fell asleep and shit.
Biden said, I ain't fucking with you. Hey, he said, oh, my cousin, she said, good night. Sleep tight, cuz. Thanks for supporting.
Peace.
Share the show, share the show. He said, you didn't vote for Biden. You voted against Trump. There's a difference. Okay. I'll take that. Come on, we got a long weekend.
That was they plan. That was they plan.
It worked on me. It worked on me.
It worked for
but I'm gonna tell you how fucked up I am.
Voted for Biden, they voted against Trump.
Right.
No, they voted for Biden.
So you gotta understand, I voted for Obama twice, and I voted for him the second time after he told us he wasn't gonna do shit for us and really didn't do shit for us.
I voted for him the one time and seen he ain't do shit and said I might as well stay my black ass at home the second time. The novelty was over. I see what it's really about.
Over that shit. We got a long weekend coming up, man. First, I want to thank y'all, man, for rocking with Outlaw Radio. I know this shit get crazy sometimes, but it is what it is. I think it can't be all one way, right? It has to be a bunch of different perspectives that kind of marinate together and create a unique flavor. And if you heard anything on here that offends you, please reach out to the person who said it and get in their ass and don't inbox me.
So fucking what?
Right. Get at them. Because I really believe in free speech, and sometimes free speech involves people who get to say stuff that you don't necessarily agree with. That's what it's all about.
If
Kamar,
you
I know you
can't laugh,
minding.
you
I
can't
know you
live.
minding the shop. We got a weekend coming up. We're running out of these weekends where we're gonna have sunshine. What you got coming up this weekend?
I'm still gonna be popping, man. I'm still gonna be popping, finding somewhere to be.
Okay.
But this week, let's see, what's tomorrow? Thursday. Tomorrow, Thursday, I'll be with the Black Chamber of Commerce at Allure. I think it's on Jefferson.
Okay.
So at Allure from 5 to about 8:30. Then Saturday morning, I'll be at the Fondy Market. And Sunday, I'll be doing an event at 550 North West Van Buren or North Van Buren.
Okay. Real. I've been saying we're gonna have to do this RC thing, and I'm trying to find the perfect spot. So my weekend is I'm gonna meet with shout out to Eagle Eye Shaw, and Eagle Eye Security LLC, our sponsor. I'm gonna meet with him this weekend. But real, I'm trying to find a spot where we can go and I can, because I got some aggressive machinery that it needs space. It can't be a little parking lot. It's not gonna do it justice. So I'm gonna find a spot and we gonna go and tear it up. But what else you got coming up this weekend?
Shit, I finally ain't got no wines to bottle. I done bottled up all my shit, so it's time for me to start putting together some other batches. I know I want to do a peach wine, and I want to make a pear wine, and then I'm gonna go ahead and I think my favorite one altogether was that berry wine we made. So I got to make another one of those too. So that's what I'm gonna be doing these next couple weekends, because you got to let it brew for about a week. So I'm gonna have it in the have one batch in the bucket, move that shit to a carboy, and start another batch because I gotta stock up for the wintertime and the holidays and shit.
Okay, I know Mama Jenkins had sent me a message about important meeting coming up tomorrow. Sean, you got any information about this meeting that's coming up tomorrow?
Yes, tomorrow from 11 o'clock, we're gonna be at the license hearing, trying to get their occupancy license taken and start to heal this community. We're meeting at 10:30. My sister want to meet at Red Arrow. We were a part of that with Dontre, so she wanted to go down there. We're gonna leave from there, walk to City Hall, and it's room 301B. And we would like to see as many people there as possible, man. This isn't about my nephew no more. This is about making sure that we don't have another Isaiah, right? That it's not your nephew. That's not her nephew. That is not his nephew. That's not nobody's nephew. That's not nobody's baby ever again. These people have come in and basically taken control of our community, and they treat us like we're less than human. They speak to us like we're less than human, and now they have showed us that they value us like we're less than human. That our lives don't mean more than 3 cupcakes.
Okay.
So, join us tomorrow, and that's just the first step. If they pull it tomorrow, then it goes before the full council, and we would like to see people in the hallways on this day. The full council gets to vote on it, and it's not going on in 7 other districts like it is in our neighborhoods, in our communities, in our backyards. I want my street to be like the streets in Franklin, like the streets in Cudahy, like the streets in Wauwatosa. You know, we deserve to live like that. They don't allow it there, so why are we continuing to allow people that are in office to give these people the opportunity to keep treating us like we're less than human?
Okay.
So,
And you're still on ground zero. Y'all still out there
yeah,
trying to get this shut
man,
down.
listen, we got hammocks and everything now, right? We're prepared if it doesn't go as we anticipated going tomorrow. If we got to be out here through the winter, man, to keep them closed, we'll be out there.
Okay. Well, I would say to everybody, man, the conversation that we had on here is very important. I hope that you don't dismiss the importance of you being involved in the community. If you've gotten to the point where you feel like you've transcended the community and you're bigger than us, and you know everything that you got going on is so important, I would encourage you to move around, because as long as you are with us and around us and adjacent to us, you're one of us, and they won't discriminate anyways. You'll fuck around and have the ultimate nigga moment. So when you start to excuse yourself and think that, oh, it ain't me, it's those people, it slowly creeps up to your doorstep. Earlier in the summer, when we were just so adamant about talking about the reckless driving and how the youth were like crazy out here with the car accidents and killing themselves. And I'm not that I'm an activist out on the street, protesting it or anything, but I'm one who's very vocal about the importance of this being dealt with accordingly. And lo and behold, my son was in a car accident and could have lost his life. And so I had to live through the terror of pulling up on the scene, seeing a car wrapped around a light pole, not knowing what I was getting ready to bear witness to when I got up on the scene. Grateful to God that nothing major happened. But I'm just saying that's why it's important for you to be proactive about things. Because when you don't give a fuck, life got a way of making you give a fuck, right? It really comes down to you being an individual who is way more of a contributor to the community than they are a critic of it. And if the opposite is true and your criticism of the community outweighs your contribution, I want you to know personally from me, Kevin Barnes, the Negro Whisperer, your ass is a coon. I will see you Monday night, y'all.
And your mama should have took a plan.
Listen, the only way this thing will be official is if the people choose it. So that means share the show.